Alrighty, this should be live. So I'm just going to double check that this is live and then I will start sharing the stream. Okay, it seems to be working. So good evening to those in Hispaniola, including the Dominican Republic, as well as Haiti, as well as those in Jamaica, parts of Nicaragua and Honduras, and parts of Cuba and the southeastern Bahamas, as well as the Turks and Caicos Islands. Today, of course, we are going to be discussing Melissa. That is going to be our main story for today, as it is a major threat for parts of the Caribbean. So just making sure that this is working. Okay, let me look at the live chat. Alright, hello guys, how are you doing? And I do want to start a poll in the chat real quick for those who are, for what country you all are in. What country are you in? Hello everyone. Okay, just starting a poll over here. And then let me do other Bahamas or Jamaica. Let me do Hispaniola there instead. There we go. All right. Thank you all so much. Okay, now let's start this. Actually, I'm going to share this one more place, and then we will get started. Okay, so we are mainly going to be focusing on Tropical Storm Melissa, which hasn't organized too much over the past 24 hours, but that is expected to change over the next 3 days rapidly. So let's start off by discussing the forecast, at least the forecasted track. So it is expected to meander a little bit to the southeast before moving to the north as a tropical storm. It will start gradually intensifying as a tropical storm over the next 24 hours, and by hour 36 it is expected to become a hurricane here in the Caribbean, before it starts meandering now due west and becomes a Category 2 by hour 48, a Category 3 by hour 60, and by day 3 it rapidly intensifies to a Category 4 strength hurricane. The system then is expected to continue meandering to the west and begin to make a turn towards the north, still as a powerful Category 4. This is just below Category 5 intensity. It may weaken some before it nears Jamaica there and makes a possible Category 4 strength landfall there, and could make another Category 4 landfall in parts of Cuba beyond day 5, still a major hurricane by day 6, moving into the southwestern Atlantic, and then still a Category 2 as it clears the Bahamas by day 7. Again, though, this cone is very large. It extends all the way from the coast of Florida all the way towards Hispaniola, so there's a large range of uncertainty over the next 7 days. But over the next 5 days, our confidence is increasing as to where it's going to go, and that does include, unfortunately, Jamaica. Alright, so now let's discuss the impacts that the system could bring over the next 5 days. Remember, this cone extends out to 7 days, but we're going to be discussing the threat level over the next 5 days. So that area does include the southeastern Bahamas, including the Turks and Caicos Islands. The majority of Cuba is highlighted in that. The entirety of the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, and Hispaniola all in that. And also parts of Nicaragua and Honduras are also in that marginal category, but it's just off screen. And also parts of far northern Colombia. They're just barely cropped into that. And that's going to be mainly due to rain, and some parts of this could be due to wind, especially for parts of Cuba and parts of the Bahamas as well. Now, discussing the slight impacts, that does include the southern two-thirds of Hispaniola and a majority of Haiti there, parts of the Turks and Caicos Islands and southeastern Bahamas, the southernmost portions of Cuba, the entirety of Jamaica as well, in that slight category. A majority of this is going to be rain and wind. This threat for Hispaniola is a majority of a rainfall threat. Same with the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands, although for parts of Cuba that's a mixture of rain and wind. Now, talking about the moderate impacts, that does include the southern portions of the Dominican Republic and parts of Haiti as well as southeastern Cuba and the entirety of Jamaica, expected to get at least moderate impacts. Now, there are going to be a couple areas that could see major impacts over the next 5 days, and this may be a conservative impact forecast. We could see some extreme forecasts or extreme impacts over the next 5 days. but at least moderate impacts and possibly major impacts. So that does include the southwestern portions of the Dominican Republic, as well as the southwestern peninsula of Haiti, and the entirety of Jamaica there could see major impacts as it could make landfall as a powerful Category 4 or 5 hurricane. Alright, now let's discuss the world of tropics, since there's a lot going on, but a little bit less than the day before. So in the North Atlantic, we have a disturbance here with a 20% chance of development near the Azores Islands. Could briefly become something subtropical, not really anything big though. And of course, we have Tropical Storm Melissa with winds likely around 50 miles an hour, and we just discussed where that is going. In the Eastern Pacific, we have Invest 92E here with a 60% chance of development over the next 48 hours and an 80% chance over the next 7 days. That will be meandering towards the west and not really impacting anywhere. It's expected to dissipate before reaching Hawaii. In the Bay of Bengal, we have Invest 94B now, with a 40% chance of development over the next 48 hours and an 80% chance over the next 7 days. That is expected to threaten the southeastern portions of India, and we may see more updates on this system over the coming days, but our main focus right now is on Melissa. In the Arabian Sea, we have the remnants of 92A, which have a 30% chance of development as it meanders around the Arabian Sea. In the southwest Indian Ocean, we have the remnants of 95S, not expected to do much, just expected to meander westwards and dissipate. We also have Tropical Storm Chengay here with a 40 winds of 45 miles an hour, and that is expected to meander westwards towards Madagascar, Tanzania, and Mozambique. We are currently code purple, the highest code level on the scale for Tropical Storm Melissa, and that's why we're doing these daily live streams for quite a long time. So I do want to discuss where the system is located right now. It is located to the southeast of Jamaica here, and looking at the satellite imagery on the storm, we can see that its center is starting to be relocated underneath these bursts of convection there. And overall, it's starting to look a little bit better organized. Earlier today, it was more sheared, but now it's starting to get more vertically stacked here. The convection is starting to go more over its low-level center of circulation. And as well, though, we can see some of these thunderstorms starting to impact parts of Haiti as well, and as parts of northeastern Colombia. Looking at the infrared imagery, we can see a very nice burst here happening directly over the center, or just to the east of where the center is located, which should allow for it to intensify a good amount over the next 24 hours before it eventually becomes a hurricane and major hurricane. So this is really good for the system as of right now. I do want to discuss why it is intensifying so much. It is due to these very warm waters here. The waters are over 30 degrees Celsius, 30 to 31 degrees Celsius throughout the next 5 days at least. And oceanic heat content, or tropical cyclone heat potential, is very high in these regions. So those waters are very warm with depth, which is going to be really helpful for the system to rapidly intensify and stall just to the south of Jamaica. Now, discussing more of the intensity forecast here, again, most of the models take it to become at least a Category 4 strength system. That is going to be due to the fact wind shear is going to be decreasing over the next 2 days, becoming very low. The upper level pattern is expected to be incredibly favorable for rapid intensification, and sea surface temperatures are not going to be a problem at all here. Same with dry air, not really a problem at all. I do want to discuss the distance from some of these locations here. In terms of, let's see, what is this? Okay, in terms of Kingston, it's around 160 miles away from you there, and roughly around 190 miles away from central Jamaica. For parts of, let's see, I will discuss Miami's distance right now. From parts of the Keys, it's around 700 miles away, and looking at parts of Haiti, the southwestern tip of Haiti around, southwestern tip of Haiti. It looks to be around 300 kilometers away, and the Dominican Republic around 460 kilometers away. Looking at the Cayman Islands, it is around 700 kilometers away from there. From Manzanillo in Cuba, around 500 kilometers away. From the Nicaragua-Honduras border, around 830 kilometers away. From the Turks and Caicos Islands, around 750 kilometers away. And same for the southeastern Bahamas. From Bermuda, it's roughly around 2,100 kilometers away from there. And you can see just how close of a forecast this is, takes it to Jamaica, and nearly a landfall at the end of the 5-day forecast. And we may see a landfall be forecasted when we get to the 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time update from the National Hurricane Center. Now let's take a look at some of the models here over the next 7 days or 7 to 10 days here. This is the latest American run, and it has done a little bit of a better job on its track, but still has it going towards Hispaniola. And then just slamming into there as a major hurricane before speeding off just to the east of Bermuda and out to sea. This is still an outlier solution. None of the other models really show that at all. The most recent Canadian run does show it intensifying to a major hurricane in the south or northwestern Caribbean, slams into Cuba and the northern Bahamas there before it just clips Bermuda as a possible hurricane, and then meanders out to sea. The latest European run does strengthen the system to a major hurricane and slams into western Jamaica as a powerful Category 5 strength system, and then slams into Cuba there as a very high-end Category 4 strength system, and plows through the southeastern Bahamas as a major hurricane, and clips Bermuda there still as a major hurricane strength system there. And then looking even farther out where it goes after that, it does barely clip Newfoundland there within the next 10 days. So again, this system, it's not going to be just threatening Jamaica and Hispaniola. Cuba, the Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, and Bermuda, and even Atlantic Canada need to be watching this over the next 10 days. Looking at the most recent German run on this system, it does have it stalling just near Haiti there, becomes a hurricane and clips Haiti, which has it weakening, but that rainfall is just stalling over the area for multiple days, at least on this model run. Looking at the most recent European ensembles, you can see a majority of them do have it curving off towards the west. It's uncertain as to whether or not it will make a landfall in Jamaica. Some of them have it off towards the west into the Cayman Islands, and some of them have them to the east towards Haiti. But really, almost all of them have it making landfall in Cuba and plowing through the Bahamas and then moving off towards Bermuda. And if we take a look at the ensembles on here, you can see quite clearly where it is expected to go, and generally the mean of them has it going towards Jamaica, eastern Cuba, and the central Bahamas, and then off towards Bermuda. Looking at the most recent American ensembles, some of them have it hitting Hispaniola, but a majority of them have it parked over Jamaica over several days before it then speeds off towards Cuba, the Bahamas, and then Bermuda. We can see that right on here. Now I do want to touch on the European AI model since this is probably doing a good job forecasting the system. It does meander towards the northeast, stalls for a little bit on the 25th, this would be on Saturday, and then on Sunday moves to the west, Monday just south of Jamaica, Tuesday morning potentially making a landfall in Jamaica, and by Wednesday it's slamming into Cuba, and by next Thursday looks to be impacting the Bahamas, and then speeds out to sea after that. Now I do want to discuss some of these higher resolution models and what they want the system to do. So this is the latest HWRF model run. It has it still as a broad tropical storm, nothing too big, but it does start rapidly intensifying as it gets those bursts of convection to fire directly over the center, quickly develops a core, and this would be on tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening, and this would be around tomorrow night. Some of those outer bands impacting parts of Jamaica and Haiti still, and then as we get towards Saturday morning, becomes a major hurricane, and still some of those outer bands powerful thunderstorms impacting parts of Jamaica, and really a lot of the northeastern quadrant there impacting Haiti there. With some of these could be decent supercells, looks like. So there could be a decent tornado threat for parts of Haiti. And as we go forward in time, this would be on Saturday night, beginning to approach Jamaica after undergoing an eyewall replacement cycle, and you can see some of those bands already impacting Jamaica. As we go forward in time into Sunday morning, looks like the eyewall is beginning to clip there, then looks to be making landfall sometime on Sunday afternoon as potentially a Category 5 strength system. Then it stalls over Jamaica, and then this is Monday morning, still over Jamaica. So this is over Jamaica for over 24 hours at this point, and it just continues stalling and pummeling the island with intense rainfall rates. And still, even on Tuesday morning, it doesn't take until 48 hours for it to really start meandering away from Jamaica. It looks to be making landfall in Cuba on Tuesday morning. and then starts impacting some of the Bahamas on Tuesday night. This is a 5-day forecast from the HWRF model run. I am curious as to seeing how high of rainfall totals do they give parts of Jamaica there. Looks to be over 2 feet of rain, which does make sense. A storm stalling this badly over Jamaica will obviously cause potentially catastrophic rainfall totals there. Alright, let's see, what is this? I'm just checking what somebody's sending here. Okay. Alright. Now, I do want to discuss some of the other model runs here, like the HMON model run does have it impacting Jamaica. Let's see, when does it start really impacting Jamaica? Some of those outer bands seem to start impacting Jamaica as early as Saturday morning. And then it creeps closer and closer, and looks like some of the core starts impacting the area on Sunday afternoon. Meanders just to the south, but as you can see, these rainfall rates are just continuing to pound Jamaica. And this is on Monday morning, and then this would be on Tuesday morning, still impacting the island, delivering potentially catastrophic rainfall totals over there. And it does clip parts of Cuba on Tuesday evening before it meanders through Cuba. This is still Tuesday night. Now, let's discuss the HAFS A model run, since this is really bad for Jamaica on this model run. Okay, we can see nothing really bad happening up until at least Saturday nights, some just outer bands impacting parts of Jamaica. It does get very close to Haiti and just stalls there. Some of those heavy rainfall rates just stall over Jamaica on Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday, impacting there. And as we can see, though, the system does get close to Jamaica. Okay, no, not this run. This run is not bad for Jamaica. This one actually just meanders towards the northeast before reaching Jamaica and speeds off just in between the gap of Haiti and Cuba. Now, the problem with this is because there's no land interaction and it's having a jet interaction, which helps it intensify pretty rapidly. And I can show that to you on here. Because of that jet interaction that it gets right over here, that will allow for it to potentially try to reach Category 5 strength if it's able to thread the needle there between those two island countries. Yep, now this would be completely devastating for parts of Haiti. Just multiple days of that that northeastern quadrant there, just getting pounded there, Haiti, with heavy rainfall rates. And if we take a look at those rainfall totals on here, it's just absolutely devastating for parts of Haiti. Even within the next 4 days, areas could see up to 2 feet of rain, and by the end of this, some areas could see up to 4 feet of rain, looks like. And Jamaica here does get spared, with some areas reaching tops a foot of rain. But still, even in this case scenario, Jamaica could get up to a foot of rain in some of those more mountainous terrains near St. Andrew and Portland. Now let's discuss the HAFS B model run and what that wants. Looks like the HAFS B run is also buying a scenario where it curves off towards the northeast just before reaching Jamaica. This is interesting to see. Both of those model runs want this case of verifying. Now, this would be devastating for parts of Haiti, and we could see these categories here of possibility of major to be then set in stone of major impacts at least, and could see some areas getting that pink coloring of possibility of extreme/catastrophic impacts. So those are those model runs. The previous ones were really bad for Jamaica. They're just stalling over Jamaica for multiple days as a possible Category 5 strength system, delivering catastrophic rainfall totals there. Let's see here. Now, I would like to discuss some of the impacts some of these areas could receive, but first, looking at radar imagery, I don't think we can see a whole lot, but we can see parts of the Dominican Republic just getting pounded by heavy rainfall rates there. Not even the core of the system, really, and where the main blob of thunderstorms is located at, and they're just getting intense flooding. I've been seeing a lot of videos floating around social media, but the devastating flooding already happening there, and it's not even over. They still have to go over additional major impacts as a possibility. So let's take a look at some of the wind accumulations. What are the maximum winds that some of these areas could get over the next 7 days? First, I'm going to be discussing the American run and what that wants. Some of these areas in parts of western Haiti could see wind gusts of up to 140 kilometers an hour. Let's see if that's higher out to sea, up to 150 kilometers an hour over there. Parts of the Turks and Caicos Islands, winds of up to This would be around 70 miles an hour. That speeds off towards the northeast, not really impacting Bermuda much. Now let's take a look at the German run and what that wants. I don't think it wants as high of winds. No. Some of these areas up to 130 kilometer an hour winds for parts of the southwestern peninsula of Haiti. But now let's take a look at the European run and what this wants. This is the really bad, the worst case scenario for Jamaica here. Oops. So, eastern Jamaica, this would be around St. Thomas, gets winds of around 80 to 90 miles an hour. Parts of Portland here gets up to 110 miles an hour. Parts of St. Andrew around 90 to 110 mile an hour winds. Kingston up to 80 mile an hour winds. St. Mary up here around 110 mile an hour winds. St. Anne up here up to 130 to 140 mile an hour winds are being predicted here. For St. Catherine, winds anywhere from 90 to 130 mile an hour winds. Clarendon over here looks to be around around here from 90 to 130 mile an hour winds. Manchester looks to get anywhere from 140 to up to 165 mile an hour winds are possible there. For Trelawney, I believe Trelawney is how you pronounce it, from up to really anywhere from 130 to 140 mile an hour winds are predicted there. St. James, anywhere from 130 to 155 mile an hour winds are possible there. Hanover, anywhere from around 145 to 160 mile an hour winds are being predicted on there. Westmoreland over here, 150 to 160 mile an hour winds, and St. Elizabeth, they're getting the worst impacts, at least on this run. 145 to 165 mile an hour winds are possible there. That's saying a Category 5 impacts are going to be possible there. That is from the European run. And then beyond that, let's just discuss Cuba here, since Cuba could see some devastating impacts from this as well beyond the 5-day range. Some areas here could see winds of up to 240 kilometers an hour, and as well as parts of southwestern Cuba as well. And looking at parts of the Bahamas here, these areas could see devastating impacts as well. Anywhere from 220 kilometer an hour winds are possible there. And looking beyond that at parts of Bermuda, here getting winds of up to 130 kilometer an hour winds just beyond the just before the 7-day range. Beyond that, they could see winds of up to 220 kilometer an hour winds. So that is really bad. Now, let's discuss some of the rainfall accumulations from these various models. Let's start off with the American run, the one having it going off towards the northeast. Some areas here, in terms of millimeters, some areas could see up to 1,000 millimeters in the southwestern peninsula of Haiti. Parts of southeastern Haiti up to 900 millimeters of rain. Northeastern Haiti around 300 millimeters of rain. And northwestern Haiti around 300 millimeters as well. Southwestern Dominican Republic could see up to 1,000 millimeters of rain there, with lower totals the farther northeast you go on that. Parts of the Turks and Caicos Islands are getting around 200 millimeters of rain, and Jamaica only gets around 3 inches of rain. Puerto Rico does get a fair amount of rain, up to 8 inches of rain on there. Now let's discuss the German run. German run spares Puerto Rico, but really devastates parts of Haiti there. Some of these areas could see over 1,000 millimeters of rain. Some of these areas 1,200 millimeters plus of rain there, and along the coast of the southwestern peninsula of Haiti there, just getting devastating rainfall totals of over 1,000 millimeters. For inches, that's over 40 inches of rain are going to be possible for parts of Haiti. Some areas could see as high as 50 inches of rain or more. But looking at Jamaica, though, not a lot of rain on this, up to 3 inches of rain max, and most of Jamaica doesn't really get anything. Now let's discuss the European run over the next 7 days and those rainfall totals. So for parts of the Dominican Republic, an additional amounts of rain up to 300 millimeters of rain are possible, and parts of Haiti could see an additional 700 millimeters of rain. But now let's discuss parts of Haiti and those rainfall totals that you could get. Starting off with Portland, could see anywhere from 20 to 30 inches of rain. Parts of St. Thomas, again, totals anywhere from 25 to 30 inches of rain are being predicted by the European run. St. Andrew, anywhere from, looks to be around 15 to 20 inches of rain there. For parts of Kingston, around 20 inches of rain. For parts of St. Catherine, anywhere from 15 to 25 to 30 inches of rain are going to be possible there. St. Mary, anywhere from 15 to 20 inches of rain. Parts of St. Anne, anywhere from 20 to 25 inches of rain. Clarendon, anywhere from 20 to 25 inches of rain for there as well. Manchester could see the worst impacts with this system. Rainfall totals of up to 30 inches or more being possible on this model run. For Trelawney, up to 20 inches of rain, maybe 25 inches of rain being forecasted on this model run. In parts of St. James, anywhere from 15 to 20 inches of rain. Hanover, same totals, really 15 to 20 inches of rain, and same for Westmoreland. And then parts of St. Elizabeth there could see up to 30 inches of rain as well. So really, throughout the entire country of Jamaica, it's being forecast to get at least a foot of rain, at least 14 inches of rain there. Now, parts of Cuba here could see rainfall totals up to 700 millimeters, depending on where it strikes directly. And looking at parts of the southeastern Bahamas, rainfall totals up to 150 millimeters of rain, and same for the Turks and Caicos Islands. Looking more forward than that, parts of Bermuda here could see rainfall totals of up to 80 millimeters over there. Now, let's discuss the latest Hurricane Center advisory and what they're talking about here. Let's start off with the key messages from the system. So these are the main impacts based on your country. So for Jamaica, due to Melissa's slow motion, the risk of a prolonged multi-day period of potentially damaging winds, heavy rainfall resulting in life-threatening flash flooding, and numerous landslides and storm surge continues to increase for Jamaica. Preparations to protect life and property should be rushed to completion, since strong winds and flooding rains could begin in Jamaica by Friday or Saturday. So by tomorrow, you guys could start seeing impacts. So you want to be completing your preparations by tomorrow. And for parts of Haiti, heavy rainfall will result in catastrophic flash flooding and landslides across southwestern Haiti by this weekend into early next week. Extensive damage to roads and buildings is expected, potentially isolating communities for an extended period of time. This is a life-threatening situation, and immediate preparations to protect life and property should be taken. Strong winds could also potentially last for a day or more over Tiburon Peninsula of Haiti. Now remember, for parts of Hispaniola in eastern Cuba, heavy rainfall could also produce significant life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides, especially in the southern Dominican Republic. Interest in Cuba should monitor the progress of Melissa, since the risk of heavy rainfall, damaging winds, and storm surge appears to be increasing. And that will also be true for the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, as well as the Cayman Islands. Should be watching this closely as well. I do want to discuss the probabilities of tropical storm force winds. So this area in dark green is the probabilities of 5% or more for tropical storm force winds. And that does also include, as you'll notice, southern Florida is highlighted in that risk as well as eastern Honduras and northeastern Nicaragua, northeastern Colombia as well, and most of the Dominican Republic, and a large portion of the Bahamas highlighted in that risk. And looking at the probabilities of 50 knot winds, this is around 60 miles an hour or more. Let me see if I can show this to you all here. Will this work or not? Okay, there we go. So this is more so damaging winds, when things like trees start coming down, power outages are starting to be a lot more frequent. Parts of Jamaica there are highlighted as a probability of around 20 to 40% there, and especially areas by Kingston around that 40% chance range. Parts of Haiti could see anywhere from 5 to 20% chance probabilities, and parts of the Cayman Islands are already highlighted as a 10 to 20% chance range, and as well as parts of southern Cuba. Probability of hurricane force winds are increasing for parts of Jamaica, some of those areas already at the 20% threshold, parts of the Cayman Islands creeping in on the 10% range, as well as Cuba and Haiti. Now I do want to discuss the forecast cone. Their forecast cone is very similar to mine, having it becoming a major hurricane in Category 4 just south of south of Jamaica for multiple days there, before it starts to creep up towards the north. As you can see on here, pretty similar to this forecast, and I do expect them to start shifting more to the northeast as it approaches Cuba. Alright, and more about this, if we talk about the rainfall forecast, some of these areas here in parts of the Dominican Republic could see 200 to 300 millimeters of rain, and parts of Haiti could see over 400 millimeters of rain over the next 3 days alone, meaning that they could see much higher totals than that beyond the 3-day range. Parts of Jamaica could see isolated areas of over a foot of rain, over 12 inches of rain, over the next 3 days alone, and that's by their forecast, the Weather Prediction Center. Now, I do want to discuss, is this an older cone? I believe so. Yes, okay. Now I do want to discuss the Google AI members here and showing where it's expecting it to go. So let's discuss the forecast timing here. So here it is as of Thursday nights, and if we go towards Friday morning, it's still a moderate tropical storm starting to intensify, and by around Friday or tomorrow nights, it should be kind of approaching the hurricane status and beginning to move more north. And by Saturday morning, it starts making that western turn as a hurricane, and by around this would be Saturday nights, could be approaching major hurricane intensity by then. Looking more towards Sunday morning, you can see some of these members are starting to get a little bit closer to Jamaica, and generally the consensus has it as a powerful Category 3 strength system. And by Sunday night, some of these members have it making landfall in Jamaica, but majority of them keep it to the south as a Category 4 by that time. Looks to be peaking at around Monday morning, and beginning to make that northern curve, and many of these ensembles have it making landfall on overnight Monday into Tuesday morning, and some of these members have it making landfall on Tuesday as well. So it looks like Monday nights, Monday overnight into Tuesday overnight is when it could be making landfall in Jamaica. Parts of Cuba here, the consensus is it could make landfall on Wednesday morning for you all there. And for parts of the Bahamas, it could start plowing through there as early as or roughly around Thursday morning. It could be earlier, it could be later, we'll see. And for parts of Bermuda, beyond that range, could see some impacts around. The general consensus is going to be beyond the 7-day range, so I don't want to discuss that too much. But as you can see, some of these members do have the Cayman Islands getting a direct hit as a Category 4 or 5 strength system. Very concerning for there. Now let's discuss the super ensemble members. This is something I want to show you all. Just as a kind of idea of what's your probability of seeing impacts. I feel like that does an amazing job of conveying that. I believe this is it right here, yes. So anywhere in the blue coloring means you have around a 5% chance of seeing impacts, at least like direct impacts in terms of wind and things like that. So as you can see, it does include a majority of Cuba, parts of the Bahamas, and it does start including northeastern or southeastern Maine in the United States as well. Some of these ensemble members do have it hooking off towards the northwest by the time northwest by the time it nears New England. So that is something to be on the lookout for. Generally, though, the consensus has it making landfall in Jamaica and then Cuba and the Bahamas, then speeding off towards Bermuda. But again, though, any areas here in this blue coloring, so parts of the Nicaragua-Honduras border, the Cayman Islands, Cuba, majority of the Bahamas, parts of Maine as well, Nova Scotia, parts of Newfoundland, Bermuda, as well as parts of Hispaniola, all there in that 5% category. Now, discussing the 25% chance category of seeing impacts, that would mainly include just off of Bermuda, majority of the Bahamas, majority of Cuba, potentially the Cayman Islands, and then all of Jamaica, of course, and parts of western Haiti and the Turks and Caicos Islands in that 25% probability category. Now, looking at the 50% or more category, that would include roughly right over here, anywhere in kind of this shading, anywhere that I'm circling, really, you have a 50% chance of seeing impacts from this storm. So you really should be taking this seriously if you're in this highlighted area. Even if you're not in this highlighted area, you should continue watching this system. But especially if you're in that red highlighted area, because you could be getting impacts from a hurricane or even major hurricane, especially there in the Bahamas and Cuba. And then, of course, there's those areas of a 2/3 chance over 67% chance of getting impacts there. So, of course, Jamaica and parts of Cuba as well. Now, I do want to discuss the forecast trend, what's been happening with that over the past few runs, mainly the past 2 runs or so. It looks like it's shifted more to the east, back towards Jamaica there, back to making a landfall in western Jamaica as a powerful major hurricane. Still goes off towards the northeast, towards Bermuda, a little bit more north on the later end of that forecast. We can look at it more in depth in a moment here. Alright, now let's start answering some questions about impacts. All right, any updates on the Western Pacific, North Indian Ocean, and South Indian Ocean? Well, in the Western Pacific, nothing in the next 7 days, but there could be a disturbance headed towards the Philippines beyond that, around the 7 to 10 day plus range. That will be marked in future outlooks if it approaches the 7 day range. North Indian Ocean, we have Invest 94B, which could be threatening southeastern India. And then the South Indian Ocean, we have Chang'e moving towards Madagascar there. Let's see here. Melissa still becoming a Category 5. It is possible Melissa becomes a Category 5. In this forecast, I am predicting 130 knot peak. That is 150 miles an hour sustained winds. And Category 5 is 160 mile an hour winds. And so that's just below the threshold of Category 5. So we could see a Category 5 strength system out of this. And that's becoming increasingly likely. In talking about the Google ensembles, roughly I'd say around here, I'd say roughly 40% of them have it becoming a Category 5. So the chances are increasing. And of course, all those high resolution models want it to become a Category 5 as well. So the chances are above 50% that this becomes a Category 5. Let's see here. So how strong is the pressure in Melissa? Let's pull up the most recent Hurricane Hunter pass through it. Looks to be around 1,002 millibars. So let me see if it's weakened. It looks like it may have weakened slightly, and that was expected in the forecast here as it drifts to the southeast. But it is expected to pick up pretty rapidly as it starts making a northern curve. I'm estimating you'll get more than 4 feet. That's possible. Is it moving fast? No. As of the most recent update from the Hurricane Center, we can see how quickly it's moving. 2 miles an hour, so that is very slow. By the time it starts nearing Jamaica here, from day 3 to 4, that whole time frame, it only moves around, let me swap this to miles. Let's see, in a full 24 hours times, it only moves 73 miles. So that is going to be around 3 miles an hour on average there. And starts picking up a little bit more, but still around 3 miles an hour by the time it nears Jamaica there. So really, it's going to be moving at a snail's pace. Really not fast at all. From Jamaica, yes, Jamaica. Why doesn't anyone mention storm surge predictions? It's far out for that. It's still 4 to 5 days. Storm surge matters a lot on positioning. If the storm's over here, for example, that'd be devastating parts of Portland and St. Mary, for example. But if the system's all the way over, and nothing happens really for Kingston on this one because it's going out to sea. But if it was a little bit more to the west, so like for parts of Clarendon and Manchester near those areas, that would be causing devastating storm surge for parts of Kingston, but less storm surge for parts of St. Elizabeth, for example. Now, if we go on the current forecasted track, that would bring devastating storm surge for the entire southern portions of Jamaica there. Really, from St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland, all those areas experiencing devastating storm surge from this system if this forecast verifies. And really, just the entire island could see devastating storm surge if it's over here, for example. But really, especially the southern side looks like. Now, if it's on the more eastern end, that would be devastating the northern portions of the island. Really all depends on where the center of the storm goes. Will it become a Category 5? I'd say there's above a 50% chance that this reaches Category 5 strength. And those chances just keep on rising. Thanks for the update. Watching from Westmoreland. Let's talk about Westmoreland's impacts real quick. Westmoreland's impacts from the various model runs here could be as low as under an inch of rain over there. But some impacts there could be as high as 20 inches of rain or more in some of those areas. And in terms of wind accumulations, you could see anywhere from, let's see here on this model run, what does it want? Well, those winds are a little bit higher on the American run. And even on the European run, some of these areas from anywhere from 30 to 150 mile an hour winds are going to be possible for you in Westmoreland. See, when is the storm coming to Jamaica? Let's see. Jamaica there, let's see. The impacts could begin as early as tomorrow. Here, I'll show Kingston, for example, in terms of those impacts that you could get there. Some of those outer rain bands will likely impact you tomorrow and on Saturday, but the impacts really begin to pick up on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That seems to be the worst day on this model run, Tuesday, for Kingston. Now, again, if you want to know the worst day of impacts for your areas and when do things start deteriorating, just ask in the chat and I will gladly answer in the order it was asked. Now, someone did ask, what about the probabilities of Florida getting impacts? Well, on the super ensemble cluster here, if we pull that up again, chances are under 5% here. But from the Hurricane Center, I do want to point this out though, their chances are up to 9% for parts of Marathon, Florida, and the southeastern portions. So some of those areas could experience marginal impacts. Maybe as early as the next update, I will include them in that marginal category of impacts. I may be chasing this storm. It all really depends on where it goes. I'd mainly be chasing along the southeastern coast of Florida. Let's see what else. Yes, Zenith, I see what you're talking about with the Philippines one. I haven't marked it yet. We'll do more updates on that Philippine threats in the longer days, or like in the next few days, I guess. Uh, but right now we're mainly focusing on Melissa. Is it possible it doesn't hit Jamaica at all? Great question. I really like you asking that kind of question. There is a possibility it doesn't impact Jamaica really. There is the possibility it goes off to the northeast and hits Hispaniola. But chances continue to increase that Jamaica will get impacts. At least a 70% chance that they're going to get hit by the system. So really those chances are just keeps on rising and rising. They're in that cone there. It could go as far east as Haiti. It could go as far west as the Cayman Islands. But those chances are increasing that it could hit parts of Jamaica directly. Now, regardless of where it goes, it seems like they'll get at least moderate impacts. It's really just do they see major or extreme impacts or catastrophic impacts. Let's see. Watching from Jamaica. Sorry, guys. From Montego Bay. Remember, guys, if you're asking about your locations, please let me know about the province or the parish, I believe it's what it's called, as well. I'm learning more about my geography there. So let me pull up where you were searching up, or you want to know about. Montego Bay. I swear I've seen that place before. Is it over here? There it is. Okay, Montego Bay, their maximum impacts, or their timing of impacts, let's discuss this from the European run. You all could be seeing impacts, overnight, some of these outer rain bands, just typical thunderstorms, whatever. It starts picking up, it appears, on Sunday morning, and especially on Monday and Tuesday morning. Looks to be peaking, at least the impacts, on Tuesday morning, at least from the European run, with wind gusts of up to 130 miles an hour there. Overall, though, totals, winds could max out at around 160 miles an hour, so you could see Category 5 impacts from the system. And rain accumulations could be anywhere from really an inch to 20 inches of rain for you there. Let's see here, Treasure Beach in St. Elizabeth. That is southwestern Jamaica. Thank you guys so much for 200 people watching this stream. I want to thank you guys so much for that so far. If you're liking this stream, be sure to like this stream as it really helps out a lot. And if you like these kind of updates, be sure to subscribe, as it just really helps out, and it helps you stay updated as well. So let's talk about St. Elizabeth there in terms of the impacts you could get. Now, this is insane, though. 200 people watching. This is the most amount I've ever gotten. So I just want to say again, guys, thank you so much. Now, let's get enough of me thanking you all. I do want to discuss the impacts now. So let's go to Treasure Beach, and this is in St. Elizabeth there. Ooh. Okay, so impact-wise, when they could get impacts, looks like they're good on Friday and Saturday, so you guys have time to prepare. It seems like some of those outer bands could begin impacting you on Sunday, and by Sunday night, you could be getting some of these impacts from the storm. So I'd say you'd want your preparations completed by either Saturday night or Sunday morning. Does continue deteriorating on Monday, and it looks to be peaking on Monday and Tuesday for the impacts there. Now, the wind gust you could see up to, or rainfall totals, you could see up to 30 inches of rain there in Treasure Beach, at least from the European run. But some of these other models, the ones that don't want it to hit, nothing really, only an inch or so. It really all depends on where it actually goes. In terms of wind accumulations, you all could see anywhere from, let's see, anywhere from 30 miles an hour up to 165 mile an hour winds, maybe up to 170 mile an hour winds. So category 5 impacts are going to be possible for you there. Southeastern Florida, someone's from there. Nice seeing you there in the chat. Montego Bay, I just discussed that. Let's see here. What about Manchester? All right, Manchester, the province. Okay, or the parish. Sorry about that. Hold on. Give me one moment, guys. I'm answering your thing in the order it was asked. So let's talk about Manchester's impacts. So Manchester's roughly around, let's see, what areas here is in Manchester? I believe Santa Cruz is going to be in, is it? No. I don't think so. No, whoops. Mandeville. This area is in there. So let's talk about this area, or actually let's talk about Alligator Pond more for impacts. So in terms of rainfall, some of the outer bands could impact you tomorrow and maybe on Saturday. Looks to be picking up on Sunday. So you want your preparations mostly completed by Saturday night or Sunday morning. Impacts continue to deteriorate on Monday with some hurricane force gust, and on Tuesday really getting bad with some areas could be experiencing category 5 strength conditions. So this area gets winds of up to 140 to 150 mile an hour winds, at least on the European run. American run, lower winds of only around 25 miles an hour. But that is starting to increase on the American run. It's starting to come up to the European run. And in terms of rainfall, there in parts of Manchester, anywhere from really 25 to 30 inches of rain are being predicted from the European run, and other runs only up to an inch of rain. So I'd say an inch to 30 inches of rain are going to be possible for Manchester. Montego Bay. Okay, let's see. Manchester there. What about Cayman Islands? Ooh, the Cayman Islands could see marginal impacts over the next 5 days. And I will show you all their impacts there. If we highlight the Cayman Islands, such as Georgetown, for example, really not a whole lot. It's going to be gusty, maybe starting to get worse on Tuesday. Nothing too bad, though, really. In terms of rainfall accumulations, up to 3 inches of rain there being forecasted by the European run. Clarendon. Okay, Clarendon's just to the east of Manchester there, so we can discuss that. We'll do... let's see, what's a good area here? I could highlights. I'll highlights. Let's see, Maypen. I'll do that area, or Clarendon Park. Let's discuss this area as the impacts and the general area of Clarendon. This is showing rainfall totals starting to increase, like some of the outer bands impacting you all on Saturday into Sunday. Really seems like impacts start picking up on Sunday around noonish, so you'd want your preparations completed by Saturday or Sunday morning. Impacts continue to get worse, and it looks like it peaks on Tuesday, at least on the European run, Tuesday morning. Now, in terms of the rainfall totals, you could get anywhere from 1 inch to up to 30 inches of rain there in Clarendon. And for wind accumulations, let's see here what the GFS wants. Anywhere from, I'd say, 30 to up to 150 mile an hour winds are possible for you there. Let's see, Luca, there's not a 0% chance for impacts in South Florida. Where was that said? I'm curious, because there's a lot of people saying a bunch of misinformation about no impacts at all, like 0 chance, when even the Hurricane Center is starting to highlight parts of Florida there. You can see there's already parts of Florida there with a 5% chance of tropical storm force winds, not even including the outer rain bands. So chances are increasing for parts of South Florida could see some marginal impacts. Yes, thank you, Lucy, for joining it again. Let's see, Black River. I don't know where that is, but I will search that up. See if I can find it. There we go. That looks to be at around This would be around St. Elizabeth. So you there could see some impacts beginning really on Sunday and on Monday and Tuesday really getting worse. Yeah. So you want your preparations completed by Sunday nights if you live there in Black River. Conditions peak out at around Tuesday there. And in terms of winds, you all could get there. Winds of up to 160 mile an hour are possible there, anywhere from 30 to 160. Rainfall accumulations anywhere from an inch to 30 inches of rain, or 25 inches of rain, are possible for you there. Yes, if it travels west of Jamaica into the insanely warm waters, yes, 880 millibars is possible. This could be a record breaker. What about Clarendon? Yes, I discussed that. Montego. Thank you so much, Montego. Okay. Portmore. Let's discuss Portmore. Sorry, guys. I am getting to your questions. Remember, I'm answering them in the order they were asked. So Portland. If we discuss something like Port Antonio, for example, for impacts there. Okay, well, it's really going to be continuing on for the next several days. Kind of impacts have already really started for you, probably. Let me just double check that. Maybe some of those outer rain bands already impacting you. But in terms of when it picks up, looks like it picks up by Sunday morning. So you'd probably want your preparations completed by either tomorrow or Saturday. And in terms of rainfall accumulations, you could get anywhere from, let's see, what is this showing? Anywhere from, I'd say, about 3 inches to around 25 inches of rain there for Portland. I'd say maybe even higher amounts. All right. Someone asked about Kingston. Let's discuss Kingston here. So some of those outer rain bands could be impacting you all tomorrow, and as well as really starts to pick up on Sunday morning. So you'd probably want you to have your preparations completed by Saturday night. Again, though, some of those outer rain bands may make it a little bit more difficult. Seems like conditions will peak out on Tuesday. But yeah, Sunday looks like it starts to deteriorate there. In terms of rainfall accumulations, you could get anywhere from, let's see, an inch to probably 2 inches to 20 inches of rain you could experience there. In terms of wind accumulations, you could experience anywhere from 20 miles an hour up to, I'd say, 90 mile an hour winds. Let's see, Treasure Beach. We can discuss that. Treasure Beach is down here. Now, they could get some serious impacts from this storm. Winds up to 170 miles an hour. Anywhere from really 30 to 170 mile an hour winds are possible. So Category 5 is possible for you there, at least on the European run. Anywhere from an inch to 30 inches of rain will be possible for you there. And in terms of impacts, when they could begin as early as, looks to be on Sunday night. So you'd want your preparations completed by Saturday or Sunday. And the impacts really peak out on Tuesday early morning, looks like on the European run. Let's see here. Manchester could get impacts from the system. Let's see here. I'll discuss Manchester again. Why not? So Manchester here could see rainfall totals of up to 30 inches of rain. Could be possible for you there, anywhere from an inch to 30 inches of rain. And wind accumulations, it could be anywhere from 30 to up to around 150 mile an hour winds. Ooh, parts of Haiti. What are the impacts that Haiti could get? So let's discuss Haiti's impacts as a broad range here. Some areas could see around 30 to up to around, I'd say, 30 to 100 mile an hour winds are going to be possible for you in Haiti. In terms of rainfall accumulations, anywhere from, let's see, what are the lower totals? Anywhere from about an inch all the way up to around 40 inches of rain or more. Yeah, I'd say an inch to 50 inches of rain are going to be possible across parts of Haiti. So again, it's very wide range. What about Savannah Lamar in Westmoreland? This area. So there, it seems like it's already gusty normally. May start getting a little bit gustier tomorrow, but impacts don't really begin until Monday, looks like. So for you there, you have, let me see, yeah, this is the European run. Did this update, or I'm kind of confused. Okay. Yeah, so impacts could begin as early as Monday there, so preparations completed by Tuesday or um I'm sorry, Sunday or Saturday or Sunday. In terms of rainfall there, up to 30 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there, potentially major impacts. Now, when will it become a hurricane? I am forecasting it to become a hurricane within the next 36 hours. So not by tomorrow night, but by the next morning. So this would be, today is going to be what? Thursday night, so not Friday night. Looks like Saturday morning it could become a hurricane. Yeah, this is my forecast cone as to where it's expected to go over the next 7 days. What about St. Thomas? St. Thomas's impacts, if I pull that up. Now, guys, if you're liking the stream, please be sure to subscribe, as it really helps out a lot. St. Thomas could see up to 30 inches of rain in some of these areas here. Really anywhere from 3 to 30 inches of rain, it seems like. And in terms of wind gust, what you all could see there, anywhere from 30 to around 90 mile an hour wind, or 30 to 100 mile an hour winds are going to be possible for you there. Um, Sorry guys, I'm getting to all your questions, okay? Let's see, St. James. Okay, I can do that. St. James. See, what are the impacts there? St. James up there in the northwestern portions near Montego Bay. Winds anywhere from 30 to 150 mile an hour winds are going to be possible there. Rainfall accumulations anywhere from an inch to 20 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm going to be mentioning impacts if you all mention a specific place, like Grape Hill, Westmoreland. Wait, no, sorry, that's the wrong one. Whoops. Sorry about that. I believe you're talking about this one right here. So impacts could begin as early as Monday, overnight Sunday into Monday, so you'd want your preparations completed by either Saturday or Sunday. Impacts really get worse on Tuesday. And in terms of your rainfall accumulations, anywhere from around 20 inches, like 1 to 20 inches of rain. And in terms of wind accumulations, like the highest wind gusts, anywhere from 30 to 150 mile an hour winds are going to be possible for you there. Will Melissa become a Category 5? I'd give it around a 50% chance. When will it reach Montego Bay? In terms of timing for Montego Bay, looks to be approaching the area as like the impacts start deteriorating on Sunday, but really some of these outer rain bands could impact you tomorrow and Saturday, so you'd really want your preparations completed by tomorrow or Saturday. But the worst impacts seem to be happening on Tuesday. Thank you all so much for the 200 plus people watching. This really means a lot. Thank you guys so much. Let's see. All right. There we go. Now I'm catching up to your guys' questions. Santo Domenico. And yes, guys, I see your questions like about Portmore, all that stuff. I will get to it in the answer or the order they were asked. Okay, that is going to be in the Dominican Republic. Let's discuss that. So, Santo Domingo, in terms of impacts there. Okay, this is going to be a little bit more complicated to forecast here. European run shows only up to 40 mile an hour winds. American run, let's see, up to 50 mile an hour winds, and the German run up to 20. So anywhere from 20 to 50 mile an hour winds are possible there. In terms of rainfall, up to 12 inches on that run, 17 inches on that, and 7 on there. So really anywhere from 8 to 20 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. You said Portmore, but didn't do. Okay, sorry about that. I'll do Portmore. Sorry, guys. There's a lot of provinces here, and there's a lot of new people coming into the chat, and they're repeating the same things, and I'm trying to catch up to the questions. So Portmore, in terms of impacts there, rainfall accumulations anywhere from, I'd say, around an inch to 30 inches of rain could fall there. And in terms of the winds that could happen, let me pull up rainfall accumulate, or sorry, winds. How strong of winds? Anywhere from, I'd say, 30 to up to around 110 mile an hour winds are going to be possible for you there. Let's see, what is this? Lewis Vale. I don't know where that is, but I can search it up. See if that's a popular. Okay, there it is. I'm assuming you mean this area right down here. Impacts could begin as early as tomorrow, really, but starts to deteriorate really on Sunday. So you'd want your preparations completed by either tomorrow or Saturday. Looks like the peak of impacts will be happening on Tuesday. And in terms of rain or winds, you could see anywhere from 30 to 120 mile an hour winds, and rainfall accumulations there up to 20 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. How much rainfall in the Bahamas? Okay, rainfall here does vary drastically. I'd say anywhere from an inch to up to around 10 inches of rain are going to be possible in the Bahamas. Will we get tropical storm winds on Friday before it becomes a hurricane? Depends on where you mean. If we're talking about the southeastern portion there, tropical storm force gusts could happen as early as Saturday, looks like. So I'm not sure about tomorrow. How about Old Harbor? Where is that? I don't know where that is. Sorry about that. Portmore. Right, Portmore, again, their impacts could be anywhere from an inch to 30 inches of rain, and wind gusts anywhere from around 30 to 110 mile an hour winds are going to be possible for you there. What about Seaforth, St. Thomas? Thanks for mentioning the province, or what's it called? Parish. So you said, sorry, I'm going to look at that one last time just so I can see it again. St. Thomas, okay. That helps me figure out where you all are talking about. Is that it? Yes, it is. Okay. Impacts could begin really as early as tomorrow in terms of those outer rain bands and just getting worse on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Peaks out on Tuesday, those impacts. But really, you'd want your preparations completed by tomorrow, I'd say, because things are just going to get worse and worse and worse. In terms of wind, in terms of wind gusts that you could get, up to around 100 mile an hour winds are going to be possible as a maximum, looks like. And rainfall accumulations up to 30 inches of rain are going to be possible. I have a question. All these forecasts are made on the current Melissa's strength speed. Isn't it really possible by Saturday her movement speed and strength can massively change? Yes, this is a very unpredictable storm. We're trying to figure out where it's going to go the best we can and how much it's going to rapidly intensify. So we're figuring things out. Everything right now is a guess. Not necessarily. It should be at least moderate impacts for Jamaica. The possibility of major impacts, though, is highlighted. We could see this get upgraded or downgraded over the next few days. Again, I will continue to be posting updates about the storm. Be sure to follow me on these other social media platforms if you haven't already. Oh, and be sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube and you're watching me on YouTube. Really helps out a lot. Curious how many questions there are on... Man, okay, there's... Hi guys, I see your questions on the Twitter thing. I do want to say, so Cayman Islands. Sorry guys, if you want to see more of those questions on, can I add something here? This would be very helpful if I could just add something on the Twitter thing. I don't know how to though. That'd be, oh man, I'm not sure how to do that. Nope. But like I see some questions there. I'm on Cayman there. What do you see with us? Cayman there could see some marginal impacts. It's too far out to really say more than that. But again, though, if you're liking this kind of content, be sure to subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. I'm trying to reach 3.7 thousand subscribers by the end of the stream. Would really help out a lot. What am I at now? 3,681. So we're 19 away from 3,700. That'd be amazing if we could somehow hit that. Let's see, what about Clarendon? Let's discuss Clarendon. Clarendon, their impacts, if I zoom in again, anywhere from rainfall totals, anywhere from around 3 to, I'd say, 30 inches of rain are possible there. And in terms of wind gusts that you all could get, I'd say around 30 to 130 mile an hour winds are going to be possible. Let's see, Portland. Let's see, the Portland impacts, if I pull that up. Here, wind gusts anywhere from 30 to 110 mile an hour winds are going to be possible there. Rainfall accumulations anywhere from 3 to 30 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. All right, let's see, Portmore. I can search that area up and see the impacts there. Portmore could see impacts as early as tomorrow, really, in some of those outer rain bands, but it starts to pick up on Sunday into Monday. So you'd probably want your preparations to be completed by Friday or Saturday. See, when is the next update? The next update is going to be at 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Now remember, it is currently 9:29 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, so we have around 91 minutes or so until the next National Hurricane Center update, which they could be forecasting a catastrophic landfall for Jamaica in that update. Chase, what's your go-to hurricane model? It's not really a model, it's an ensemble cluster. The Google AI members. If you search up DeepMind Google Weather Lab, this does an amazing job at forecasting tropical cyclones across the globe. Really solid job, as well as formations. Really does an amazing job, and that's really what I use a lot in my forecast. Westmoreland, we can discuss those areas and those impacts. Westmoreland winds, I believe this is going to be, no, this is going to be rainfall totals. Anywhere from an inch to 20 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. Let me extend this out a little bit more. And in terms of wind gust, anywhere from 30 to 160 mile an hour winds are possible. So Category 5 impacts are going to be possible for you there. Portland, those impacts are around 30 to 110 mile an hour winds, and in terms of rain accumulations, anywhere from 3 to 25 inches of rain, or maybe even 30 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. Spanish Town, please. Yeah, we can discuss that area. See, Spanish Town, in terms of impacts, when it could start as early as tomorrow, really, in some of those outer bands. On Saturday, really starts picking up as well as Sunday, but really starts picking up on Monday and peaks out around Tuesday. So I'd say start getting your preparations completed by tomorrow or Saturday, because that's when some of those outer rain bands are starting to impact you. All right, and in terms of rainfall accumulations, anywhere from 3 to 20 inches of rain being predicted for you. And in terms of wind accumulations, anywhere from 30 to 100 mile an hour winds are going to be possible there. Kingston, Jamaica, if we talk about Kingston here, in terms of when impacts could begin, it could begin as early as tomorrow and some of those outer rain bands, but really starts picking up on Sunday and peaks out at around Tuesday. So I'd say it's best to get your preparations completed by tomorrow or Saturday. In terms of winds, that you could get anywhere from 30 to 90 mile an hour winds, and rain accumulations being forecasted at around 3 to 20 inches of rain for Kingston. South St. James, please. Let's see, St. James, where is it? There it is. Okay. So that's going to be right down here. So in terms of impacts that you could get, seems to be around 1 to 20 inches of rain, and wind accumulations of around 140 mile an hour winds as a maximum really being forecasted. Let's see what else here. How powerful could this thing get before passing over Jamaica? This thing could become a Category 5. I do want to reiterate that this could become a Category 5 strength system as it plows into Jamaica. That is a possibility, and we are monitoring that. But it's just a little bit uncertain. Right now it's only a tropical storm, so there's so much uncertainty into its maximum intensity. We're just going to need to keep watching the latest forecast. Right here. Negril, Westmoreland. Alright. That is going to be on the western side there, very westernmost portion of Jamaica. In terms of impacts, you seem good for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but it picks up on Monday and peaks out on Tuesday. So really start getting your preparations done over the weekend, by Sunday night at the latest, looks like. And in terms of winds, you could see anywhere from 30 to 150-mile-an-hour winds there. And in terms of rainfall accumulations, let me make sure, yep, that's being seen on stream. Around 20 inches, anywhere from an inch to 20 inches of rain being forecasted for you there. What is Trelawney impacts? We haven't discussed that yet, so let's discuss it. Impacts there in terms of rainfall totals could be anywhere from, I'd say, 2 inches to 25 inches of rain are going to be possible for Trelawney. And wind accumulations anywhere from 30 to around 150 mile-an-hour winds are going to be possible there. Will Melissa hit the east coast of the United States? It's too far out to say for sure. They're not in the cone of 7 days, but beyond that, some of the New England could get hit by the system. So I wouldn't say it's completely unlikely. There's like a 5% chance that parts of eastern, southeastern Maine gets impacts from the system, and maybe parts of Boston there. So it's uncertain there. I'd say it's around a 1 to 5% chance, 1 to 6% chance that they get impacts. Let's see here. Will it impact the Windward Islands? No. The Windward Islands, you all are fine, okay? Hopefully you're done this season, okay? Like with nothing big happening for you in the Windward Islands. I'm assuming you mean right over here. You're pretty much good. If there's any, you don't have to watch the stream. If you're in the Windward Islands, you're good. Okay. Melissa's going more west. Let's see. Right now, it's a little bit more west than forecast, but it is expected to make a southeastern jog, and northward jog, and then western jog. So this was pretty much. I predicted that it would kind of do this. What about Spanish Town? Here, if I show Spanish Town, and don't worry guys, I'm seeing your questions, I'm just answering them in the order. So if you ask a question about a location, I will get to it. Just look at where your chat message is compared to everything else, and then you can kind of see when I'm answering it. Spanish Town impacts could begin as early as tomorrow, but really pick up on Sunday and Monday and peaking out at Tuesday, looks like. So I'd say get your preparations done by tomorrow or Saturday. Did you already do Clarendon? I did, but I'm going to do it again. I really like answering everyone's question that they have, even if I have to repeat it. It's perfectly fine. There's new people constantly coming into the stream. Speaking of which, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. It really helps out a lot. Trying to reach 3.7 thousand subscribers by the end of the stream. We are 14 subscribers away from that. And if you haven't already, be sure to like the stream. That really helps out a lot. So, Clarendon, in terms of impacts, miles per hour, anywhere from 30 to, I'd say, around 130 mile-an-hour winds are possible there. And rainfall accumulations, anywhere from, I'd say, 3 inches to 30 inches of rain possible. Let's see, check the Canadian model. Is there a new one else, or is this just the same one from 12Z? Alright, the Canadian model has it moving to the south of Jamaica and thankfully misses Jamaica, but slams into the Cayman Islands in central Cuba and then the Bahamas as a major hurricane, and then clips Bermuda as a possible post-tropical hurricane. That's what the Canadian model wants. Hi from Jamaica. How much winds could we see in Kingston? In terms of wind gust in Kingston, I can tell you the various model runs and what they want. Looking at the American run, winds of only up to around 20 mile-an-hour winds. German run wants around 25 mile-an-hour winds, and the European run wants up to 85 mile-an-hour winds. So really anywhere from 20 to 90 mile-an-hour winds, I'd say. Around what time should one shelter in place in Kingston and St. Andrew? I can't say much about that yet. Shelter in place, I don't know much about that. But in terms of impacts times, seems to start deteriorating on Sunday and peaking out sometime on Tuesday. As we get closer in time, I'll have a better idea. But right now, it's just uncertain as to what impacts they could get and do they need to be sheltering in place and things like that. Stony Hill, Jamaica. I can search up that area. Let's see. Now, I'm not sure which one you're talking about, so I can't really answer that question. Remember, please mention the parish as well. Now, guys, can you do me a favor and say in the chat, do you call it provinces? Do you call it states? Do you call it parishes? What do you call it there? Do you call it districts, divisions? I'm curious, just to make sure I'm using the right terminology. See, Clarendon Maypen. Okay. Thank you for mentioning the, see there, the province as well. Okay, Maypen there. Impacts could begin as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands, but really starts deteriorating, looks to be on Sunday nights. So you'd want your preparations completed probably by Saturday or Sunday. Hanover. Okay, I can search that up. Oh, Hanover Province. Or, sorry, I'll see your guys' chat messages in a moment about what you all call it. But wind gusts could be anywhere from, I'd say, 30 to 160 mile an hour winds, so Cat 5 is possible there. In terms of rainfall accumulations, I'd say 1 inch to 20 inches of rain possible there. How much rainfall in Cuba? Alright, Cuba could see anywhere from, I'd say, in terms of millimeters, nothing to up to 700 or 800 millimeters of rain possible there. Oops, sorry, trying to fix this here. What about Treasure Beach? Okay, I know where that is. I'm learning more about these locations. This is so cool. Okay, Treasure Beach. In terms of timing, could see some outer bands as early as tomorrow, but really starts picking up on Sunday night into Monday morning and peaking out at Tuesday really. So you'd want your preparations completed by either Saturday or Sunday morning. Now, in terms of the rainfall accumulations, you could get up to 30 inches of rain as a maximum there from the models, and wind gust up to 170 mile an hour. So Category 5 is possible for you there. Hispaniola, in terms of impacts, here's a look at kind of the impacts coloring there. So northern Hispaniola at around a marginal category, central Hispaniola around the slight category, and southern Hispaniola around the moderate to major impact category. Brooklyn, New York from Jamaica. New York, it's too far out to say any impacts there. Oh man, there's a lot of questions. Hold on. Wait, sorry, no, where'd it go? Sorry, I'm trying to find it. There it is. Okay. St. Mary, please. Sure. Um, let's see, St. Mary, that is going to be, is that a, okay, that's over here. Okay. So in terms of impacts, you could get around 90 to 100 mile an hour winds are going to be possible there, at least on the high end. And in terms of rainfall accumulations, anywhere from 3 inches to 20 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. After Melissa, will you discuss the Western Pacific system? After Melissa's done, there will probably be updates on that storm. Just all the focus right now is on Melissa. As you can see, there's like nearly 200 people watching for Melissa, so that's all. That's where all the attention goes. Thankfully, thank God there's not another major threat going on right now. This would be incredibly stressful to cover two of these at the same time. Let's see here. After Melissa, will you just? Oh yeah, sorry. The storm weirdly has an odd track. Why is Melissa moving so weird? It's just due to ridges, ridges and troughs. Ridge builds back in and pushes it to the west. From Manchester, worried about the family there. Manchester, their impacts. Let's see, over here-ish, I believe. Yes. Impacts, they could see anywhere from, I'd say, 2 to 30 inches of rain are going to be possible there. Major impacts are going to be possible, and wind accumulations could be as high as 150 mile an hour. Kingston, let's discuss Kingston here. If we look at some of the rainfall, or sorry, when they could get impacts as early as Sunday, seems like. But some of those outer bands could impact even earlier on Friday and Saturday, but really starting to increase on Sunday and then peaking out on Tuesday. So you'd probably want your preparations completed by tomorrow or Saturday in Kingston. Now, in terms of winds, you could see winds up to 90 mile an hour. In terms of rainfall, rain accumulations, you could get accumulations up to anywhere from 3 to 25 inches of rain, I'd say. Sandy Bay, Hanover. Thank you, JJ, for mentioning the other location as well. Sandy Bay, Hanover. So those areas, that area, wow, okay, seems like they could be getting impacts right now in terms of rainfall, but it just progressively gets worse over the next few days. I'd say get your preparations completed by tomorrow or Saturday, really. And if it doesn't impact you by right after that, then just at least you beat the crowd. And then Tuesday, they're getting the worst impacts. And in terms of rainfall, this is rainfall, anywhere from an inch to 20 inches of rain being forecasted there. And in terms of the maximum winds you could see, up to 160 miles an hour. So Cat 5 is possible there. Port Maria in St. Mary. Thanks again for mentioning St. Mary there. It's going to be right over here. So really, some of the outer bands could already be impacting you as early as overnights, tonights, and really Saturday it's bad, but really the impacts start picking up on Sunday. I'd start completing your preparations by tomorrow, really, because of some of these outer bands impacting you. Do it safely, because some of these outer bands could cause a flood threats. So if you haven't already completed your preparations, you should be doing so then. So here, I have family in Manzanillo, in Cuba there. What impacts there? So Manzanillo in Cuba, let's see, could see in terms of the next 5 days at least slight impacts, and that could increase because they could have a major hurricane headed their way, category 3 or 4. We just don't know this far out, really. It would be in about 5 days or so, so you all have time to prepare. Okay, and we'll get more confidence over the coming days. Just subscribe to the channel and just keep coming back for updates over the next few days. There isn't really a whole lot to talk about there just yet. We are one subscriber away from 3,700, so 3.7K. So please, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Almost at 3.7 thousand. I can't believe we're just about to hit that. And if you haven't already, be sure to like the stream as well, as it really helps out. So next question. What about Treasure Beach? Let me pull that up, and let me just see how many questions I've missed. Sorry, guys, I'm getting to your stuff as quickly as I can. Okay, there's a lot of questions. In terms of Treasure Beach, here, let's see. Okay, wind gust up to around, or when they could get impacts. At least they could get impacts as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands. Nothing too severe. Really, on Sunday nights, it starts picking up. So I'd get your preparations completed by either tomorrow or Saturday. And then in terms of winds, they could see 170 mile an hour winds are going to be possible there. So Cat 5 is possible there. In terms of rainfall accumulations, anywhere from an inch to 30 inches of rain are possible there. What about Maypen, Clendon? Thank you for mentioning there about that. So let me search up. Oh, whoops, is it May Space Pen? There, yep, I see it. You all could see some out of those outer rain bands as early as tomorrow. It doesn't really, or it does pick up on Sunday, so I'd say you'd want your preparations completed by either tomorrow or Saturday. And then on Tuesday, Tuesday really peaking out on the impacts there. And then in terms of what are the overall impacts you get, really an inch to 20 inches of rain and wind accumulations of around, I'd say, 30 to 110 mile an hour winds are possible there. Let's see, Spanish Town. Here, that is going to be, let's see, which one are you? Oh, yeah, this one. Sorry about that. It's just trying to find it. Okay, there we go. Spanish Town could see impacts tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands. Again on Saturday and Sunday. So I'd say get your preparations completed by tomorrow or Saturday. The earlier, the better. Impacts will be peaking at around Tuesday. You could see wind gusts anywhere from, I'd say, around 25 to 100 mile an hour winds, and rain accumulations could be anywhere from 3 inches to 20 inches of rain. Let's see, parishes. We have two questions there about the parishes. Is that on there? Okay, that's going to be... Don't see it on there. Oh. Yeah, sorry. Okay, it's the question there. Parishes, that's what you all call them. Thank you all so much there. Parishes. All right. Thank you again so much for answering that question. Sorry guys, I'm getting towards the questions. You can see I'm a little bit behind. there. Treasure Beach, again mentioned that 170 mile an hour winds possible, 30 inches as a maximum for rainfall totals. Let's see, did I reach 3.7? 3.7 thousand. Thank you guys so much. That really means a lot to me. Thank you all so much. Um, wow, cannot believe it. Thank you guys so much. Again, not gonna celebrate too much. Okay, anyway, I'm trying to focus on getting you all the information. Um, let's see, Stony Hill. Okay. Spanish Town parishes. Okay. So how much rainfall in Spanish Town? See, in Spanish Town, there around up to 20 inches of rain being forecasted there. Bellinston, Clarendon. I can search that up. Whoops. Jamaica. Not showing up here. Treasure Beach, again, Treasure Beach could get winds of up to 170 mile an hour, so that they could get hit by a Category 5, and rainfall of up to 30 inches is possible there. Okay, so you have parishes, towns, districts, and cities. Okay, thank you. So it's mainly parishes is what I'm looking at. All right. What about Cave Valley, Saint Anne? Ooh, Saint Anne. Haven't had a question from there in a little bit. Let me search that up. Cave Valley, Jamaica. I'm not sure which area you're talking about there. So I'm assuming it's going to be this one, this area here. I'll just say St. Anne's impacts. In terms of rainfall accumulations, anywhere from 2 inches to 25 inches of rain, and wind accumulations anywhere from, I'd say, about 30 to 140 mile an hour winds are possible there. Um, the purple colors here. Purple colors mean around 130 mile an hour winds here, pretty much Category 4 strength system. The black coloring and white coloring means a Category 5 possible there. Rainfall accumulations, it's a weird scale here. So I guess the pinks are around a foot of rain or more, and the blacks are over 2 feet of rain. Let's see here. Morant's Bay, St. Thomas. St. Thomas, okay. Let's see. So you're going to be one of the first people getting impacts from the system. Ooh, okay. You could be getting impacts as early as tomorrow, or sorry, Saturday night. You need to get your preparations completed by tomorrow. Okay. I'd really recommend that because conditions are going to be deteriorating too much by Sunday morning. So really get your preparations completed by Friday night at the latest. There, you could be dealing with some of those outer rain bands, so be careful. Um, it seems to be peaking throughout Monday and Tuesday, those impacts, especially with heavy rain. Um, Spanish Town, what's going to be happening there? Let's see. So Spanish Town, in terms of impacts, when it could be happening as early as tomorrow. Some of those outer rain bands seems to be picking up on Saturday nights though, and then really getting worse on Monday. So I'd say get your preparations completed by Friday or Saturday. Um, I see your message one, Trigon. I see Chase. You're gonna have to come to Jamaica for your next vacation. We've adopted you. Um, I do want to ask you all. Let's see. In Jamaica, is that a nice place to vacation? I'd love to. I'd love to take a vacation there. If you all would like, is it a great place to visit? How's tourism? How's like, is there crime? Is there any like, how great of a place is it? How safe is it? Just curious because I might eventually visit Jamaica. That'd be kind of fun. Um, yeah, I'm from southeastern Florida. Have not been to another country before, so that'd be quite interesting. Okay, sorry guys. I'm getting to your questions. Okay. What island or country is this? This is Jamaica I'm looking at right here. And this is the zoomed out view of all those areas. K Valley, St. Anne, I answered that. Manzanillo or Cuba. Okay. Cuba there, Cuba in terms of their impacts around Manzanillo. Around 9 inches of rain being forecasted as a maximum. I'd say up to 10 inches of rain possible there. Um, and in terms of winds, how strong the winds could be, up to around hurricane force being predicted there. In terms of impacts over the next 5 days, it looks to be slight impacts there that will likely get upped. Runway Bay, St. Anne. Let's see, is this it? I believe so. Yes, impacts could begin as early as tomorrow and on Saturday, as well as really, though, picking up on Sunday and Monday. So I'd say get your preparations completed by tomorrow there, because some of these outer rain bands are going to be impacting you, maybe quite severely. Impacts really get worse, though, on Tuesday for you there. And in terms of rainfall accumulations for you there, winds of up to 130 mile an hour are possible there, and rainfall of up to 25 inches are going to be possible there. I have friends in Les Cayes, and I probably butchered that, and I apologize for that. That's in Haiti. The impacts there, ooh, okay, that's not great. In terms of rainfall, they could get anywhere from 25 inches from the European run and up to 25 inches, again, on the German run. So possibly 2 feet of rain. They're in that possibility of major impacts. Winds, I don't think, are going to be as bad. Maybe up to 80 mile an hour winds. Let's see here. Clarendon. That's going to be around here. Ish or so. So winds of anywhere from 20 all the way up to, let's say, up to around 130 mile an hour winds are going to be possible there for Clarendon. And for rainfall accumulations of around 20 to 25 inches of rain. Greetings from Kingston, Jamaica. Kingston and Spanish Town, I'm going to jumble these two together, and I'm going to say Portmore. Pretty much these three are going to get around the same amount of impacts. So it seems to get some impacts potentially tomorrow, as well as Saturday and Sunday, but really picking up on Sunday night. So get your preparations completed by either Friday or Saturday. If you're in Kingston, Portmore, or Spanish Town. And in terms of wind gust, you all could see anywhere from 80 to 100 mile an hour winds from the European run, and the rainfall accumulations could be up to 20 inches of rain. What about Maypen? Let me search that up. Maypen is going to be over here. I'm learning my Jamaican geography here. Let's see here. So impacts there could begin as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands. Nothing too severe. Starts getting worse on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I'd say get your preparations completed by either tomorrow or Saturday. How many models bring Melissa to the Gulf? Out of all of the ensemble members, out of these hundreds of ensemble members, only 2 of them take it to the Gulf. So very low odds. Runaway Bay at St. Anne. Oh, whoa, 216 people watching. Guys, thank you so much for joining the stream. I am answering the questions as quickly as I can. So bear with me if I take a little bit. While you're at it, though, consider subscribing, as that really helps out a lot. Runaway Bay here. Rainfall of beginning as early as tomorrow, with some of those outer bands continuing throughout the weekend and really picking up on Monday or overnight Sunday and early Monday. So I'd say start getting your preparations completed by tomorrow. You may have to deal with some showers and thunderstorms. And if not, well, at least you completed it before everyone else. And in terms of rain accumulations, could see anywhere from 2 inches to 25 inches of rain, and wind gusts anywhere from 30 to 130 mile an hour winds. Is there a big risk of it turning into the Dominican Republic? For the Dominican Republic there, not really turning towards it, but still, this is kind of the categories here in terms of what kind of threat level of impacts you get. Marginal impacts, slight impacts, moderate impacts, or possibility of major impacts. So not really a direct impact, but it doesn't have to be a direct impact for you to see major impacts. Wait, there's a tornado in Oklahoma and Texas in the United States. Let me just check. Dang, I probably missed it, but that's interesting. Okay. Um, Morant's Bay in St. Thomas. I believe I know where that is. Please tell me I do. I do. No, I don't. Okay, sorry. I tried. There it is. I'm assuming you mean this one. Yep, you could see impacts earlier than really everyone else. I'd say get your preparations completed by tomorrow night because conditions are going to be deteriorating really on Saturday and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. It's just going to get progressively worse. The earlier you prepare, the better. Old Harbor Bay. I'll search that area up. Okay, I don't see it there. All right, Kingston, Jamaica. I'll go over Kingston again. Here, Kingston could see um, some significant impacts there, but relatively calm on Friday and Saturday, except for some stray showers and thunderstorms. But really impacting, or really starting to deteriorate on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I'd say get your preparations completed by tomorrow or Saturday. And then in terms of winds, you could see up to 90-mile-an-hour winds from the, whoops, that's the American run. Let me show you all rainfall accumulations. Up to 20 inches of rain are possible there. I do want to say, if you're finding this helpful and you think that this could help out someone else in Jamaica, or someone else in Cuba, or the Cayman Islands, or the Hispaniola, if you know anyone from there, if you're in any group chats with other people who are in there, be sure to, if you think that they could benefit from some information here, just send them the stream. It helps out a lot. And if not, just, consider subscribing so that way you can stay up to date. I'm curious how much I'm at now there. Okay. 3,716. Wow, okay. I don't even know what goal to set anymore. Thank you guys so much. Now, before I get back to answering some of the questions, I do want to discuss something very important. What I mean by get your preparations completed, okay? There's a checklist of kind of things you should be getting, okay? There is a hurricane preparedness checklist, okay? And here's kind of some of these things that you want, okay? You want to have an evacuation plan in case you need to evacuate. And here, if you want, you all can take a picture of this and just print it out, whatever, or just have it on your phone, and then just so that way you can keep track of things. So you'd want medication, medical supplies, a 2-week supply. You'd of course want cash on hand. You'd want a flashlight with batteries and extra batteries as well. You'd want your phone and your portable chargers. You'd want important documents like your birth certificates, insurance cards, all that kind of stuff. All your important documents all ready to go. So that way it doesn't get destroyed. You want a battery-powered weather radio potentially. I don't know how this works in Jamaica. You want your phone list there, different companies, family, friends, have their phone numbers down, all that kind of stuff. If you have a vehicle there, make sure it's filled with gas. And make sure you have an emergency kit in case you need to leave. Have non-perishable food and water, 1 gallon per person per day for 7 days. So if you're one person, have 7 gallons of water. And if there's 2 of you, 14 gallons of water. Just be prepared for this. Non-electric can opener, that could be come in handy. Cooler, first aid kit, definitely make sure you have that. Pet supplies in case you have pets, things like food and water, leash, medications, collar, cage, things like that. You'd want sleeping bags and pillows. Toolbox and rope could come in handy. Plastic sheeting and duct tape could come in handy, and work gloves as well could really benefit you. I do want to mention as well that's not on here, shoes. Make sure you have closed-toed shoes. Fire extinguisher could come in handy. Cleaning supplies, maybe clothing. Make sure you bring clothing. Whistle could come in handy if in case you're cut off from anywhere else. So yeah, that's mainly your checklist here. So if you haven't already, be sure to take a picture of this, screenshot it, whatever, and just make sure you get this all filled out if you're in these areas, because you really want to kind of get prepared. All right, I just wanted to stop real quick and show you all that. So let's get back to some of these questions. Let's see. Jamaica is beautiful. Food is amazing. Um, let's see. Jamaica is safe. Okay. Thank you guys for answering my question about that. I may consider traveling to Jamaica sometime as my first, my next country besides the United States. Um, let's see here. What about Clarendon? Clarendon, if we go back to that. Clarendon would get impacts, let's see, in terms of the total impacts, they could get anywhere from, I'd say, up to 25 to 30 inches of rain could be possible there. And in terms of rainfall accumulations, let's see here, or sorry, wind accumulations, anywhere from, I'd say, 30 to 120 mile an hour winds are going to be possible for Clarendon. Maybe even higher totals, up to 140 mile an hour winds could be possible by the border of Clarendon and Manchester. All right, let's see what else. Spanish Town, got multiple questions about Spanish Town. So in terms of Spanish Town, the impacts you could get there, winds of up to 90 to 100 mile an hour winds. And in terms of when those impacts could begin, could impact you as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands. Deteriorates more on Saturday, Sunday, and even on to Monday, getting worse and really bad on Tuesday here. Let me just see if you all can see that. Yes, you can. Okay. So I'd say get your preparations completed by early as tomorrow or Saturday, as conditions are going to get worse on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So again, winds of up to 100 mile an hour are possible, and rainfall accumulations of up to 18 inches or so. Let's see, the parishes. Is that a place here? I haven't really been able to find it. No. Oh, sorry, okay. Sorry about that. I'm getting to your questions, okay? Um, what's going on in the, I don't know about that area. Eswa, Wharton, Linsed Valley region. I don't know where that is. I can kind of search it up. I'll try to see if it's on here. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Let me do that. Okay, I found it. Wharton Airstrip. Okay, that's probably closer to what you're talking about. Okay, yes, I found it. Yes, I found it. I found it. There we go. Okay, I found it. In terms of rainfall, they could see up to 20 inches of rain. And let's go through the time frame since you wanted to know more about that. Let's see here. Come on. Work, please. Not that. Okay. I'll start with Linstead there. Timing could see impacts as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands continuing throughout the day on Saturday and Sunday. Really getting worse, though, overnight Sunday into Monday there. And then really picking up on Tuesday. So I'd say get your preparations completed as early as tomorrow. But if you can't, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can do that as well. But it just progressively gets worse over time. The earlier you do it, the better. Wind speeds you could get. And thank you all so much for 230 people watching. Remember, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe as it helps out a lot. Winds of up to 115 mile an hour are possible there, and rain accumulations of, I'd say, up to 20 inches of rain are being forecasted for you there. What about Finkfield? Can search that up. Don't see it on here. What about Stony Hill and Golden Spring in the parish of St. Andrew? How much rainfall there? Golden Spring. Is this it? Hold on, I don't think that this is it. No, that's not it. Sorry. Let me find the proper one. Let's see, it is going to be the one by Kingston. Yes, okay, there we go. Thank you for mentioning the parish because that helps out a lot in figuring out where it is. Okay. Yeah, I'm not from Jamaica, so this is interesting. Trying to figure this out. So, in terms of rainfall there, beginning as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands, really picking up on Sunday and Monday and really bad on Tuesday. So I'd say get your preparations done as early as you can on Friday or Saturday. Really running it, yeah, either tomorrow or Saturday. Really get your preparations completed then, because it's just going to get too bad really on Sunday and Monday. And then in terms of rainfall there, if we take a look at rainfall accumulations up to around 20 inches of rain, 15 to 20 inches are being forecasted from the European run, and wind accumulations up to around 110 mile an hour are possible there. How about St. Elizabeth? St. Elizabeth, their impacts. Let's see, where is that? That's going to be over here. Winds, they could get winds as high as 170 mile an hour, maybe up to 180 mile an hour winds are going to be possible there. So Category 5 could be possible there, slamming into St. Elizabeth. And in terms of rain accumulations, 20 to 25 inches as the maximum right now being forecasted there. What about St. Mary? Sorry, I opened up something. St. Mary, let me take a look there. In terms of rainfall, they could see anywhere from 15 to 20 inches being forecasted from the European run, and winds of around 80 to 110. Will Portmore get a lot of wind and rain? We can discuss that. I search up Portmore. Okay, I believe you're talking about this one right here. Yes, okay. They could. They could get a fair amount of wind and rain. It all depends on where the system goes. Winds could be as high as 90 mile an hour from the European run, and rain of up to 20 inches are going to be possible. Oops, I opened up the same thing again. Dang it. Okay. What about Savannah Lamar? I'll try to search that up. Okay, I believe you're talking about over here. Yes. Okay, so impacts looks to be a great, not a great day. I'm not going to say that, but looks to be not a whole lot of anything going on tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday. So you have time to prepare, but get those preparations completed over the weekend. Okay, don't be procrastinating it. Okay, get it before Monday, because Monday and Tuesday really gets bad. And it's going to get bad fast if the European run verifies. 20 inches of rain are possible there. Wind accumulations up to 150 miles an hour. Is it possible to have tornadoes in Jamaica and Cuba? Yes, this is going to be a tornado threat as well. Let's see here. Manchester. Those saying tornadoes can't happen in Jamaica, they can. These supercells, especially if they're reaching the right front quadrant there, the northeastern quadrant, they could be getting hit with some tornadoes. I just do want to say that. Tornadoes are going to be possible. It all depends on where the system goes, though. Let's see, Manchester impacts. Manchester could see winds of up to anywhere from 130 to 160 mile an hour winds, so Cat 5 is going to be possible there. Rain accumulations of up to 30 inches of rain as a maximum. What impacts in the Grand Cayman? Those are islands, right? I swear that's an island. Impacts there, only marginal impacts being expected right now. So really only up to 3 inches of rain as of right now. If this shifts west, that's going to get a lot worse. But I'll keep posting videos on it. So be sure to say subscribe, as it really helps out a lot. We are now at 3,724 subscribers. Thank you all so much. Let's see if we can reach 3,750. We're around 26 away from that. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, as it helps out a ton. Wind and rain for Constant Spring. I'll search that up. Constant Spring, that's north of Jamaica, looks like. Yes, okay. Or north of Kingston. Rain totals of around 17 inches or so, so up to 20 inches, and wind accumulations up to around, 100 mile an hour winds are going to be possible there. I would like to pull up I'm going to search it up again. In terms of when conditions could deteriorate, they could start happening as early as tomorrow, but really getting worse on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I'd say get your preparations completed as early as you can, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But really, the earlier the better, as things will get worse and worse. Will Melissa do way more damage than Beryl in Jamaica specifically? It does have a chance to be worse than Beryl. Whoops, sorry. Because this is looking at the possibility of major impacts, maybe even extreme impacts. So this could slam into Jamaica as a Category 4 or 5. This would be worse than Beryl. Yes, Edward there says, to our brothers in Jamaica, get ready for a lot of water. Get out of low-lying areas, stay away from beaches, rivers, ravines, canyons, and places prone to rock slides, mudslides, etc. Yes. Let's see here, Westmoreland. I'll search that area up. Westmoreland, Jamaica. Let's see, where's that? Oh, sorry, yeah, I forget that. That's a province, yeah. Or parish. Winds of up to 150 miles an hour as a maximum, and rain accumulations up to 20 inches as a maximum there. Is Melissa the only tropical storm in the Atlantic right now? Yes. All right, now I'm catching up. Old Harbor, St. Catherine. Thank you for mentioning the parish as well. Um, Old Harbor, let me see which one you're talking about. This is going to be in, oh dang, St. Catherine, I think you said. So, yeah, over here. Yes, so they could get impacts as early as tomorrow in some of those outer rain bands, as well as Saturday and Sunday, but really picking up on Sunday evening into Sunday night. So I'd say get your preparations completed by either tomorrow or Saturday, because things are just going to get worse and worse and worse. Peaks out on Tuesday. What about Westmoreland? Yeah, I discussed that. See, I'm in Jamaica, Port Moore. Let's discuss Port Moore. Oh, sorry. Port Moore, is that not showing up on here? All right, let me go to the next question then. Why is the graph no extreme impacts from Melissa? It's just because it's a little bit far out to determine that. It will likely be upgraded over the coming days if this track holds, but as of right now, it's a little bit uncertain. Okay, that's why. Okay. We are now at 3,733 subscribers. We're 20, or sorry, we are, let's see, is that's 17 away from 3,750. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. That really helps out a lot, and I'll keep you guys updated over the coming days. Savlamar, I'll search that up. That area did not really expect any rain during Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, but then quickly deteriorates on Monday and Tuesday. So get your preparations done over the weekend. The earlier the better. But it looks like it peaks out on Tuesday. Is this another man-made hurricane? Hurricanes are not man-made. Okay, I'm just going to say that right off the bat. They're not man-made. So, as someone who's been studying this for a while, it is not man-made. I know that this is a little bit different, but is there any Hurricane 100 planes in the storm right now? Blue Charger, great question. Okay, just want to say that since remember there's no bad questions. There's no even if it's a little bit off topic there, as long as it's related to the storm. So we can take a look at where Recon is in the storm. They've finished and they've got a pressure of 1,002 millibars. They're going back to the north. Looks like winds aren't that strong that they've found really. But I think Recon's done as of right now. They'll come in again probably tomorrow. Let's see here. Linstead, I'll search that up. I believe you're talking about this area. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Linstead. Those areas, in terms of what kind of what the timing, as early as tomorrow, some of those outer rain bands again on Saturday and again on Sunday, but really picking up on Monday and Tuesday. So get your preparations completed over the weekend. The earlier, the better. Okay. So I'd be completing them on Friday or Saturday. I'd say. Just know that there is the possibility of some flooding going on over those days. So be careful. Avoid flooded roads. 20 inches of rain are going to be possible as a maximum, I'd say, and wind accumulations of up to 110 miles an hour are being forecasted there. Moreland, Manchester. That's not the right one. Sorry. Is it this one? No. I'm not sure which area you're talking about. I don't see it listed. Hey, please tell me about Troy in Trelawney. Yes, let me get to that. Okay, I'm assuming you're talking about this area right over here. Yes, okay. Impacts there could begin as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands, and again on Saturday and again on Sunday. Overnight Sunday and Monday morning, that's when it's going to really be picking up, and on Tuesday as well, at least on the European run. And then, let's see here, in terms of when you should prepare, again, do it over the weekend, the earlier the better. Winds of up to 140 miles an hour are being predicted from the European run, and rainfall accumulations of up to 25 inches. What impact does Troy, Portland? We discussed Portland, the parish there. Let's see here. So Portland here could get rain accumulations of up to anywhere from 3 to 25 inches of rain, I'd be predicting. And wind accumulations anywhere from 30 to up to 110 mile an hour winds are being expected there for Portland. So what about Discovery Bay in St. Anne? I'll search that up. So assuming you're talking about here near Runaway Bay, impacts could begin as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands again, and as well as Saturday and Sunday, picking up on Monday and Tuesday though as those really bad impacts. Um, so looking at the total rainfall that you could, or total winds, you could get winds as high as 130 miles an hour, at least according to the European run, and it also shows rainfall of up to 20 inches falling there. Chase 5,000 subscribers at the end of the year, that'd be crazy. I don't think I'm gonna reach that though. But thank you for the enthusiasm there. That'd be insane. What do you expect in Foulmouth? I don't like setting those unrealistic expectations. But like you guys can help me reach it. That would be crazy. I don't know what to think about that. It's my dream helping you all across the globe stay aware of these tropical cyclones. Let's see, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday could get some of those outer rain bands. Monday and Tuesday, really bad there for Falmouth. In terms of rainfall accumulations, up to around 20 inches of rain being forecasted, and wind accumulations up to 140 mile an hour winds. Could this move in the Gulf and move up the west coast of Florida? There is only one ensemble member showing that, and that's incredibly unlikely. Really, in terms of West Coast impacts, I'm not going to really talk about that too much. It's too unlikely. What about Papine in Kingston? Let me search that up. Okay. Oops. If you're talking about over here, yes. Okay, impacts could begin as early as tomorrow and Saturday with those outer rain bands, but really picking up on Sunday and Monday. So get your preparations completed either by tomorrow or Saturday, because by after that it may be too late in order to get your preparations completed. Portmore in St. Catherine. Let me pull that up. So I believe you're talking, yep, over here. So similar there with impacts, just get it completed by Friday or Saturday. And then in terms of rain accumulations, Spanish Town, Kingston, and Portmore could see anywhere from really up to 3 to 20 inches of rain. And maximum wind accumulations up to 100 mile an hour winds are possible there. What will the highest winds be in Maypen? Search that up. Highest winds in Maypen are being forecasted at around, let's see, 120 mile an hour winds probably. Let's see. Claremont's St. Anne. Oh, sorry, this one. Okay, yeah, sorry. Searched up a lot there. Okay. Impacts as early as tomorrow, continuing throughout Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Really picking up on Monday and Tuesday. So get your preparations done over the weekend. The earlier, the better, okay? Because the soil is going to get more saturated and it's just going to get harder and harder to prepare. Winds of up to 130 miles an hour are possible, and rain accumulations of up to 20 to 25 inches are possible there. Do you think Melissa could make landfall in Cuba as a Category 4 or 5? Yes, that is a possibility. I am currently forecasting a Category 4 landfall in Cuba. Category 5 can't be ruled out. Could it in any way miss Jamaica? Yes, there is a possibility it misses Jamaica. Good question. I do like you asking that, okay? It could go all the way to the west of the Cayman Islands. But really, they're going to get at least moderate impacts, I see, in terms of rainfall. I don't see them completely missing this. See, thank you from Troy. Nice seeing you there. Is there a chance it could impact Cancun? I doubt that. Yes, I'm 2 hours into the live stream and I'm going for 3 hours. What about Sandy Bay and Hanover? Let's see here. Sandy Bay. Their impacts could begin as early as, of course, on tomorrow in terms of those outer rain bands. Some showers and thunderstorms continuing to get worse as the days go by. Picking up on Monday at around noonish and really bad on Tuesday. So get your preparations done over the weekend. The earlier the better, like I was mentioning earlier. Rainfall totals of up to 20 inches are possible, and wind accumulations of up to 160 mile an hour winds are possible there. So Category 5 is possible there. Clarendon. See, Clarendon in terms of impacts there, winds of up to 90 to 120 to 130 mile an hour winds are possible as the high end, and rain accumulations, the high end is being around 15 to 25 inches of rain. Falmouth, is this rain or wind? A combination there. Falmouth, Trelawney. Falmouth could see impacts as early as tomorrow. Again, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, some of those outer rain bands, and Monday and Tuesday really getting bad. And on here, I'd say get your preparations done over the weekend. The earlier the better. Rain accumulations could be, let's see, I'd say as high as 20 inches for Falmouth, and wind accumulations up to 140 mile an hour winds. What about Holland, Holland Bamboo and St. Elizabeth? I can search that up. Not, I don't know which one you're talking about, but I can't really find it. Sorry. I think you're talking about over here. Is this St. Thomas you're asking about, or St. Elizabeth? St. Elizabeth, I'm not sure. How far out will it travel on our south coast? Do you mean how far away? It's forecasted. From the Hurricane Center, it is forecasted to be around 47 miles away from the southern coast, but at the end of the forecast there, it's only around 15 miles away. And this forecast will likely be adjusted. We're going to see an update within the next 34 minutes about where it could go. Linstead instead of Linstead, St. Catherine wind speed. Will elevation affect the wind speed? Yes. Yes, because of that elevation, winds increase as you go up in height, so you will be experiencing worse winds because of that. Let's see where to go. Sorry about that. Yep, there it is. Okay, impacts. You were asking about the wind accumulations. Max winds from the European run expected to be up to 110 miles an hour, but some of the models are forecasting lower totals, only around 30. So really 30 to 110 mile an hour winds are going to be possible. What about Treasure Beach? Ooh, Treasure Beach could get some really bad impacts. See, Treasure Beach here, fine tomorrow and Saturday. Sunday night is when it starts getting really bad, or Sunday night it starts deteriorating. So get your preparations completed either Friday, Saturday, or by Sunday before night. The earlier the better. And rainfall totals, I'll pull that up. Or winds, they could see winds of up to 170 mile an hour winds are being possible there. So Category 5 direct hit is possible for you there. Rain accumulations of up to 30 inches is possible there. See, what about Mandeville in Manchester? I can search that up. 4,000 views, guys. Thank you all so much. Mandeville could see impacts, of course, as early as Friday and Saturday with those outer rain bands, picking up on Sunday night, though. So again, get your preparations done the earlier the better. And in terms of rainfall, they could see up to 30 inches of rain. And in terms of, let's see, wind accumulations, winds of up to 140 miles an hour are possible there. So here, what about St. Elizabeth? St. Elizabeth is going to be over here. Let's see. So winds of anywhere from 130 to 170 miles an hour are being forecasted as a maximum, and anywhere from 20 inches to 30 inches of rain as a maximum are being forecasted. What about Seven Heights in Clarendon? Search that up. Oops, sorry. I do not see it. I'm sorry. how is the system doing now? It's struggling. It's still sheared. Winds are around 45 to 50 miles an hour, so it's struggling right now. But just because it's doing bad now doesn't mean it's not going to be anything big for Jamaica later on. Let's see, what is this? Albert Town in Trelawney. Here, I will search that up now. Albert Town, they could see impacts as early as tomorrow at around noonish from some of those outer bands and outer thunderstorms. Doesn't get bad really until Monday morning. So really get your preparations done over the weekend. The earlier the better. I do want to reiterate that the earlier the better, because the ground's going to get more and more saturated as we go further in time. Flooding's going to be a lot easier. Rainfall of up to 25 inches is forecasted by the European run, and winds of up to 140 mile an hour winds. Let's see, St. James. St. James winds could be anywhere from 130 to 160 miles an hour, so Cat 5 conditions are possible there. And rain accumulations of around 15 to 20 inches as a maximum. Is the storm moving west or north? Man, I have no clue at this point. It's meandering wherever it wants to. I think it's north. Okay. Yep, north at 2 miles an hour. All right. Now, I briefly want to go over some more things. Just take a break to go over this. This is the current forecast by me and where it's expected to go over the next 7 days, and these are the areas highlighted for potential impacts. These green areas, yellow, orange, and red. These red areas really need to be watching this system. And this is over the next 5 days. These areas are also going to be highlighted soon. Okay, these areas right here in the Bahamas and Cuba, that's going to go up soon by tomorrow. Now, I do want to discuss what I mean by emergency kits, things like that. You want to have an evacuation plan. If you're told to evacuate, before you're told to evacuate, you want to have a plan as to what you're going to do. Medications, you want to have medical supplies, at around 2 weeks of medications ready there. You want cash on hand, and you want a flashlight with batteries, of course, for the night, and many batteries. Your phone, portable chargers are very helpful. You want to have your important documents, things like your birth certificates, other things like that. Battery-powered weather radio, if that's really mainly a thing in Jamaica. You want to have your phone numbers. You want to have a list of all your phone numbers on who you can call. You want to keep your your vehicle filled with gas, not your gas filled with vehicle. My bad. Emergency kit. You want to have this as well. Non-perishable food. You want to have a gallon per person per day. So that's around 7 days. So you want to have at least 7 gallons per person. Non-electric can opener could be useful. A cooler would be nice. First aid kits as a must, in case one of you all gets injured. Pet supplies if you have a pet, so things like pet food, water, leash, collars, bowls, medications, carrier cage. Sleeping bags and pillows will be helpful. Toolbox and a rope may be helpful. Plastic sheeting and duct tape as well. Work gloves definitely will be helpful. Closed-toed shoes as well. Fire extinguisher may be helpful. Cleaning supplies as well, maybe. Clothing would be definitely nice. A whistle as well in case you're ever stranded somewhere. And again, if you don't have this already, just be sure to take a picture of it. And just save it, maybe print it out or something. Just take a screenshot of it and edit it and put a check mark on things that you have ready to go. Alright, now let's go back to answering more questions. Real quickly, I want to look at this subscriber count. 3,741, 9 subscribers away from 3.75k. Please help me reach there, 9 away. If you're finding this informative, be sure to like this stream as well, as it helps out a lot. And be sure to subscribe if you're in Jamaica, since this is going to be a multi-day thread, and I'm going to be covering this every single day. Lucia Hanover could get heavy impacts. So is there a recon aircraft in the storm right now? Not now. Green Island Hants. So I'll search that up. Assuming you're meaning over here. Okay, Green Island could see impacts as early as tomorrow night and some of those outer rain bands and thunderstorms. In terms of more severe impacts, looks to be happening on Monday. So you have the weekend to prepare, okay? The earlier you do, the better. Now, in terms of rainfall, totals anywhere from 15 to 20 inches as maximums, and wind accumulations of up to 150 miles an hour, just below Category 5 is possible there. After Melissa, is there any new systems in the North Atlantic? I have only marked the subtropical thing that could try to develop. Let's see here, what else? Can you please check on Cousins Cove in Hanover? Sure. Let's see where that is. Cousins Cove Cave, yep, over there. Same thing there. They could see wind gusts of up to 170, or sorry, 150 mile an hour winds. Impacts could begin as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands and thunderstorms. Progressively gets worse over the next few days and really starts getting bad on Monday and Tuesday, looks like. So get your preparations done over the weekend. Earlier the better. Wind gusts of up to 150 mile an hour or just below Cat 5 is possible there. And those rain accumulations up to 15 to 20 inches of rain are being forecasted for you there. Let's see, what else? Green Island, Hanover, yeah, covered that. And what about Westmoreland? Here, Westmoreland, some of these areas, rainfall totals of 15 to 20 inches are possible. Wind accumulations anywhere from 140 to 150 mile an hour winds. Now, this is a new. Is this new? I'm not. No, this is not a new model. Sorry, just thought that this was a new run that came out. Nope. What about Clarksonville and St. Anne? Can search that up. Nope, do not see that as a list here. Any updates on the Eastern Pacific? We have Invest 91 or 92E with an 80% chance of development over the next 7 days, with a 60% chance over the next 48 hours. Could become a brief tropical cyclone out to sea. Yesterday, one model went to 225 miles an hour. Yes, I saw. This thing has a very high ceiling. What about Farm Heights at St. James? Can search that up. Farm Heights there. Let's see. So impacts could begin as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands. Same for Saturday, Sunday. Really gets bad on Monday and Tuesday though. So I'd say get your preparations done over the weekend. The earlier the better, because the longer you wait, the worse those conditions are going to get with those saturated soils. Wind gusts of up to 150 miles an hour are being predicted, and rain accumulations of up to 20 inches are possible there. So can you please check on St. Thomas in Portland? Sure. Oh, St. Thomas and Portland. Okay, yeah, sorry. So St. Thomas and Portland, those areas, rain totals could be anywhere from 20 to 30 inches as maximums, and wind accumulations of around 70 to 120 mile an hour winds are going to be possible there in terms of the high end. Recon is not in the storm right now. What time tomorrow will we be starting to feel the impacts? You may not feel them tomorrow. It all depends. It's really going to be the outer bands that are going to be impacting you then. Let's see, so Mandeville, I'll search that up. Again, if you're liking this kind of coverage and you want to know, or you want to stay up to date on hurricanes threatening Jamaica or anywhere else around the world, but specifically Jamaica as well, you'll see my thumbnails and stay up to date on this storm. Be sure to subscribe. I'm 5 away from 3.75K. Let's see, so Mandeville here could see impacts as early as tomorrow, Saturday as well, but mainly Sunday nights getting some of those worse impacts, and Monday and Tuesday really getting it worse. And if I look at this here, let's see. Okay, yeah. In terms of rain or winds, they could get winds as high as 140 miles an hour, and rainfall totals as high as 30 inches of rain are possible there. Next update will be out at 11 p.m. Can you check St. Elizabeth, please? Let's see, St. Elizabeth's down there. So rainfall totals for St. Elizabeth could be around 20 to 25 inches of rain, and winds of around up to 170 mile an hour winds are possible there. So Category 5 is possible for St. Elizabeth, according to the European run. Got a question about Kingston. The impacts in Kingston could start as early as tomorrow night, or tomorrow evening and night with some of those outer rain bands, but really start to deteriorate on Sunday evening and Sunday nights. So get your preparations completed by Friday or Saturday. And this does include Spanish Town and Portmore as well, these three cities. Winds of around 90 miles an hour are being forecasted, and rain accumulations of up to 20 inches of rain are being forecasted as a ceiling. Could Melissa impact Florida? Yeah, they could see marginal impacts, and we could see that highlighted in the next National Hurricane Center update. Can you check on Brownstown? Sure. I believe that's in Jamaica. I swear I've heard about that before. Were you in a stream earlier? Um, Man, okay, I can't find it. Sorry about that. I can't really find Brownstown. If there's a larger city, you can mention that there. What about Old Harbor Bay? Old Harbor Bay there. They could see impacts as early as tomorrow evening and nights with some of those outer rain bands. Again on Saturday and again on Sunday, but really starts picking up on Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon. So I'd say get your preparations done by either Friday or Saturday. Conditions will continue getting worse and peaking on Tuesday, looks like. And then let's see here, what else? Rainfall totals of up to 20 inches of rain are possible there. Maybe even as high as 25 inches of rain, and wind gusts could be as high as 100 miles an hour. Brownstown, St. Anne. Why can't I find it? What's the... Here, I'm going to look that up, okay. Brownstown in Jamaica, in St. Anne, okay. Sorry about that, just trying to find out where it is. There it is. Okay, well, I don't know why it's so large, but Brownstown. Okay, with an apostrophe S. That's why it wasn't showing up. Okay, it needed an apostrophe. That was why. All right. Winds of up to 130 miles an hour are possible, 140 maybe even. Rain accumulations of up to 25 inches are possible there. And let's see here, looking at impacts in the timing, could see impacts as early as tomorrow and Saturday, and even Sunday with some of those outer rain bands, but really starts picking up overnight Sunday into Monday morning. Really gets bad on Tuesday, seems like. So you get your preparations done over the weekend. The earlier the better. Rainfall totals of up to 25 inches are possible, and wind accumulations of up to 140 miles an hour winds are possible there. Clarendon. Let's see here, I can do Clarendon. Clarendon, their impacts there, they could see winds of anywhere from 90 to 130 mile an hour winds as maximums, and rain accumulations of around 15 to 30 inches of rain. Good day. Hi, hope you're doing great. I know that this is maybe a little bit stressful seeing that this is coming your way. Not obey, please. Let's see here. Not obey there could see impacts as early as tomorrow, really. You should probably be getting your preparations completed by tomorrow. The earlier the better. Conditions are just going to be continuing to be bad. Long days of heavy rainfall seems like. I'd get your preparations completed by tomorrow. Rain accumulations there could be as high as 18 inches, looks like. And wind accumulations here as high as 100 mile an hour winds. Now, pretty soon we're going to get an update from the Hurricane Center. It may already be out. Yep, we have a new forecast from the Hurricane Center. All right, I'll pull that up. Here, first I'm going to tweet about it real quick. So give me one moment. I'm just going to make a post about it. Let's see here. Let's see. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. So now we'll discuss the Hurricane Center update. Let's discuss this. So, Melissa, as of 11 p.m., Melissa moving slowly northward towards Jamaica in the southwestern peninsula of Haiti. Heavy rains and life-threatening flash flooding expected, and strong winds possible for portions of Hispaniola and Jamaica into the weekend. Now here we go. Here's the public advisory on it. Winds at around 45 miles an hour, pressure of 1,001 millibars, so it rose by 1 millibars. No new watches and warnings, and now let's go to the discussion. Here, give me one moment. Whoops. No, dang it, I misclicked. No. Okay, sorry. Let me just pull something else up real quick. Where'd it go? Sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. I'm just pulling this up real quick, just off stream, trying to get more information about the Hurricane Center in the Discord. Alright, there we go. Okay. So now in terms of the forecast discussion, Melissa has gotten a little bit better organized this evening with the low-level center reforming a little to the north close to a burst of deep convection. However, tail Doppler radar data from a NOAA Hurricane Hunter aircraft suggests the storm is still not vertically aligned, and the circulation at 700 and 500 millibars is still poorly defined. The central pressure remains near 1,001 millibars, so the initial intensity will be held at 40 knots. However, the aircraft wind data suggests this could be a little generous. The initial motion is now slowly northward at 3 knots. Melissa remains trapped in an area of weak steering currents between mid-level ridges to the southeast and northwest. During the next couple of days, the ridge to the northwest is forecast to build eastward to the north of Melissa in the wake of a mid-latitude shortwave trough, currently moving eastward through the Bahamas. This evolution would cause Melissa to move slowly northward for the next 24 hours or so, followed by a westerly turn at a continued slow forward speed. The GFS and HAFS regional hurricane models show a more initial eastward motion, possibly due to a center reformation. And due to this, they forecast a track east of Jamaica, followed by an eventual northward motion towards eastern Cuba. However, the European, Canadian, UK Mets, and all these other corrected consensus in the Google AI models forecast a more westerly track that passes south of Jamaica, followed by a northward turn near or west of the western end of the island, near the end of the forecast period. The HWRF, HMON, and the other consensus models are in between these forecasts and forecast the center to cross Jamaica. The new forecast continues to follow the more westerly solution and is a little changed from the previous forecast. It should be noted that regardless of the exact center of Melissa is likely to pass dangerously close to Jamaica during the next few days, and it could come close to the southwestern peninsula of Haiti. Melissa is still feeling the effects of 15 knot of westerly shear, and between this and the disorganized structure, only slow strengthening is expected over the next 24 hours. After that time, the combination of more favorable upper-level winds and very warm sea surface temperatures should allow considerable strengthening once the cyclone gets better organized. The intensity guidance remains in good agreement on the possibility of rapid intensification as the center nears Jamaica, and the new intensity forecast is unchanged from the previous forecast. In addition, the tropical cyclone is likely to grow significantly in size and will likely be a large and dangerous hurricane at the end of the forecast period. So they are still forecasting a 145 mile an hour Category 4. I do want to mention let's see, what are the wind speed probabilities? Okay, they're starting to increase, so I'd say marginal impacts are expected for parts of the Florida Keys at this point. Just going to note that right now. And so, let me see what else. Here, okay. Was I going to pull up? Yeah, key messages. This is as of 11 p.m. Is it going to be the same? Yes, it's pretty much the same as before, but I'll read it again. So for Jamaica, for you all in Jamaica, due to Melissa's slow motion, the risk of a prolonged multi-day period of potentially damaging winds, heavy rainfall, resulting in life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides and storm surge continues to increase for Jamaica. Preparations to protect life and property should be rushed to completion, since strong winds and flooding rains could begin in Jamaica by Saturday. If you're in Haiti, heavy rainfall will result in catastrophic flash flooding and landslides across southwestern Haiti by this weekend into early next week. Extensive damage to roads and buildings is expected, potentially isolating communities for an extended period of time. This is a life-threatening situation, and immediate preparations to protect life and property should be taken. Strong winds could also potentially last for a day or more over the southwestern peninsula of Haiti. Remainder of Hispaniola and eastern Cuba for you all there. Heavy rainfall could also pose significant life-threatening flash flooding in numerous landslides in southern Dominican Republic. Interest in Cuba should monitor the progress of Melissa since the risk of heavy rainfall, damaging winds, and storm surge appears to be increasing. And I'd mention that for the Bahamas as well. Alright, so that's that forecast. Now Colombia doesn't have to worry about the system anymore, and Jamaica really needs to be worrying about this. I have parts of the southeastern portions could be now experiencing at least moderate impacts in the form of rain, more extensive power outages. Alright, so let me look at what else there is here. I'm curious about the wind speed probabilities now, what they're forecasting. Is this as of 11 p.m.? Yes. More areas in Florida are now highlighted as a chance now. Well, I'm under a 2 to 3%, 1 to 3% chance of, or sorry, 1 to 2% chance of seeing hurricane conditions now. That's quite surprising. And some of these areas now experiencing the possibility of marginal impacts. And let's see, some of these other areas here, much higher. Let me see the hurricane probabilities in the Keys, 2%. Yep, I'm watching this in case of a potential hurricane chase down there. But yeah, again, it is expected to grow significantly. That's why that is highlighted there for parts of Florida. Okay. Alright, I'll answer some more questions now. Gonna keep going for the next 30 minutes or so. Pit 4, Granville, Fada. I don't know where that is, but I can search it up. Nope, don't see it there. Let's see, St. Anne's Bay, and you'll find Browns. Yep, okay. Montego Bay. I'll search, or I'll find it right over here. In terms of their impacts, it could begin as early as tomorrow in some of those outer rain bands, progressively getting worse throughout the weekend. So really, I'd start your preparations over the weekend, as the earlier the better, okay? Just want to mention that the earlier you complete your preparations, the better, because conditions will progressively get worse. Let's see. Tuesday seems to be the worst day as of right now there. In terms of winds, you could get winds as high as 150 miles an hour, rain accumulations of up to 20 inches. Chase, what are your chances of it becoming a Category 5? I'd give it a 50% chance of it becoming a Category 5. See, Blue Mountain, Manchester. Blue Mountain, I'm assuming you mean this area. Is that what, let me see what you said. Manchester, no, that's not Manchester, I don't know. What happened to Spanish Town? Will the hurricane stall or still be over the island on Thursday? Let me see. So the forecasted location on Thursday, let me see. So this is going to be, okay, Thursday it's going to be all the way over here. Next Thursday nights it's going to be over here. So should not be over the island by that point anymore. Next Thursday. What will happen to Spanish Town? Well, Spanish Town should see moderate impacts, but could see major impacts or even extreme impacts. All depends on where it goes. Their rainfall totals could be as high as 20 inches, I believe. Yes, and their winds could be as much as 100-mile-an-hour winds. Can you tell me about Portmore? Man, I swear I've searched that up and I just cannot find it for the life of me. Let me just try it one more time. Okay, never mind. I know where it is. Oh yeah, okay. Yes, I've done that already. Sorry. Portmore. Same thing, around 90-mile-an-hour winds or to 100-mile-an-hour winds, 20 inches of rain or so. Those are kind of the impacts you could get. And it could begin as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands. You could see some rain and thunderstorms there. And continuing on into Sunday as well and Monday. Get your preparations completed before Sunday. That's my advice. How similar is Melissa to Ivan? Well, I mean, this is much closer. This could be worse than Ivan. What about northeastern St. Elizabeth? Sorry guys, I'm answering your questions as quickly as I can. Northeastern St. Elizabeth. Those areas could experience winds of up to 150 mile an hour winds, so just below Category 5, and rainfall totals could be as high as 25 inches. What about Manchester? Manchester there, just to the east of St. Elizabeth, could see higher rainfall totals, up to 30 inches of rain in some spots. Wind accumulations up to 130 to 150 mile an hour winds possible. That is a high end. No, not expected to become a Category 5 just yet. Um, Winds are getting heavy in northeastern Manchester. It's not really impacting you just quite yet. If I show northeastern Manchester, it is a little bit gusty, and it's going to be gusty again tomorrow and then Saturday again. So yeah, those are kind of like the outer bands. Yes. Clarksville. Let's cover Clarksville in Saint Anne. Thanks for mentioning the province or the parish. Please tell me I spelled that right. No, okay, sorry. I might have misspelled that. No, I don't think I did. No, okay, I don't know why it's not showing up. But St. Anne still kind of has the same impacts, 15 to 20 inches of rain as a maximum. Ridgeway, I'm planning to do this for 3 hours. That's good luck, Jamaica. Let's see, Highgates, St. Mary. Sorry about that, gotta fix my posture. Okay. Let's see, St. Mary, I believe this is St. Mary there. Yes, okay. Impacts there could begin as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands, and continuing throughout the weekend, and then really picking up on Monday. So I'd say get your preparations done over the weekend. The earlier the better. Don't procrastinate. And in terms of total impacts there, let's see here. So winds could be as high as 110 to 120 miles an hour. A rainfall of up to 20 inches of rain possible there. Clarendon. I guess, and I see the message there. We really appreciate what you're doing. Of course, guys, thank you all so much for the support. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We have just hit 3,750 subscribers. Thank you all so much. I'm going to do this stream for another 30 minutes, then call it a day, but I'm going to be back again tomorrow with even more information, more up-to-date information. So again, please, if you haven't already, consider subscribing. This may become one of my most popular live streams. I just want to mention that right now. So again, thank you guys so much for all the support. Now back to Clarendon. Crofts Hill. Okay, do Crofts Hill. All right, so the impacts you get there, starting as early as Friday, or as early as tomorrow evening and tonight, with some of those outer rain bands, some isolated thunderstorms, scattered isolated thunderstorms. Picks up really on Sunday night into Monday morning. So get your preparations completed over the weekend. The earlier the better. In total impacts that you could get, let's see here. Rainfall of up to 25 inches as a maximum, and winds of up to 120 miles an hour as a maximum. Falmouth, Trelawney. I'll search that up. See their impacts that they could get. Again, over the weekend, they're going to get some of those outer rain bands, but really picking up on Monday. So get your preparations completed over the weekend, okay? You have time to prepare, but the earlier you do it, the better. Will it still be here on Thursday? Not next Thursday. Next Thursday, it should be gone. By next Thursday, it is forecasted to be over here, so in this region. So it should be gone by that point. All right, now let me just check any questions on this here. No really new questions on the Twitter thing, or on X. I do want to mention, though, if you want to stay up to date around the tropics and you're not able to attend live stream or whatever, and you'd like just occasional updates throughout your day, be sure to follow me on some of these social medias. If you have, well, you don't have to follow me on multiple, okay? I just want to say that whichever one you use the most besides YouTube, just follow me on there, because then I'll be posting a lot more frequent updates on there. So if you use X or Twitter, follow me on @hurricane_chase there. You can take a screenshot of this if you'd like. On YouTube, if you're already here, be sure to subscribe. But I also have an Instagram account if you use that at Hurricane Chaser Chase. There, if you use Discord, you can join there on discord.gg/chasesstorm. I know not a lot of you are going to be using that. That's more so for people who are interested in weather. But now, if you have Facebook or Blue Sky, search up Cyclone Tracking. And that is my account there with a red logo. Sorry, there. If you want to take a screenshot of it. Let's see, Portland. Let's see. So Portland impacts. See, in terms of winds, they could be anywhere from 80 to 120 mile an hour winds, I'd say. And in terms of rainfall, though, let me pull up that. Rainfall could be anywhere from 15 to 30 inches of rain, looks like. What does the recent shift in the system mean for us in Jamaica? Well, oh man, okay. It's too far out to say for sure. I'd still be expecting moderate impacts and the possibility of at least major impacts. So really all these minor shifts are going to be happening. I'll have another update tomorrow at around the same time discussing more about the changes in the forecast. But really it's been staying kind of consistent in impacting western Jamaica. Some models though do have it meandering to the east of Jamaica, so it's uncertain. When will St. Elizabeth start feeling some of the impacts of the storm? All right, let me pull up St. Elizabeth. Let's see, some of these areas, I'll use Black River as an example, I think. Yep, Black River as an example. They could experience it as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands, isolated or scattered thunderstorms. Nothing too bad. Really starts feeling it on Sunday night into Monday morning. So you want to have your preparations completed by then. Yep, the update is out. Yes, I see. Now I do want to discuss again, for those who don't know, this is what a hurricane preparedness checklist is. So when I say get your preparations completed, fill out this, okay? Take a screenshot if you have to, or just you could take a screenshot, print it out, or just check it off on your phone, or computer, or whatever you're using. You want to have an evacuation plan. So you want to have a plan all mapped out on what you're going to do if you're told to evacuate. And if you're in like a low-lying area, in an area susceptible to flooding, and you need to evacuate, you need to have a plan ready to do so. Medications, have medications for around 2 weeks or so, have a 2-week supply of that. Make sure to have cash on hand, because things are going to go down. You all know the deal with that. And flashlights and batteries, don't really need to mention that twice. Make sure you have your phone and portable chargers. Make sure you have important documents as well. Because again, if your house is destroyed by the system, you want to at least have your important documents like birth certificates, things like that. You don't want to lose all that. Weather radio, potentially. Phone list. You want to have a list of all your phone numbers for things like doctors, insurance, your family and friends, that kind of stuff. You also want to keep your vehicle filled with gas, and you also want to have an emergency kit of multiple things. You want to have food and water, non-perishable food, for 7 days per person, or 7 gallons of water per person. So if you're just by yourself, you want 7 gallons of water. If you're with 2 people, you'd want 14, and 3 people, 21, and so on and so forth. Because this is going to be a long, prolonged impact there, and if the water goes out, you want to make sure you have gallons of water. A cooler could be nice. A first aid kit is definitely helpful. Pet supplies if you have a pet, so bring things like pet food, water, leash, collar, bowls, medication if they have any, and carry in a cage. Sleeping bags and pillows are useful. A toolbox and rope could be useful. Plastic sheeting and duct tape could also be useful. Work gloves and closed-toed shoes, definitely helpful. Boots, if you have them, that's even better. Cleaning supplies, fire extinguisher, meh, but clothing, definitely. Whistle in case you get stranded and you need people to know where you're at. So this is kind of what you want to get. So you can take a screenshot of this. Any more storms coming after this in Jamaica? No, this is it for a while, okay? At least the next 10 days. It should quiet down after this. See here. How much storm surge from Melissa? Can't really talk about it this far out. It's 5 days really before it makes a direct impact. Oh, and again, here's their latest forecast cone right there. Now going towards Cuba there as a Category 4 just to the west of the island, and they shifted it even closer to the north now, with it only being around 15 miles away. So that is dangerously close. Let's see, what's up for a Trelawney? Let me check. Trelawney there could see rainfall totals of, let's see here, anywhere from around 15 to 25 inches as a maximum, looks to be. Are those borders? No, they aren't. Okay, I thought that these were borders. No, those are just rivers. Okay. And in terms of wind accumulations of around 130 to 140 miles an hour are possible there. Spur Tree, Manchester. I can search that up. Spur Tree in Manchester there could see impacts as early as tomorrow evening into tomorrow night with some isolated thunderstorms. Again on Saturday, becoming more scattered on Sunday and really starting to pick up now on Sunday night. So make sure you get your preparations completed either on tomorrow or Saturday. Things are just going to continue to deteriorate. Looks like the worst day of impacts is going to be on Tuesday. Oh, and in terms of winds, maximum winds could be winds as high as 150 miles an hour, and rainfall accumulations of up to 30 inches of rain are possible over the next 7 days. Montague Bay, and that's Manchester as a whole. Just want to say that what I was talking about here, that's pretty much Manchester as a whole. So that answers your question, hopefully. Montego Bay, Montego Bay, I'm assuming is what you meant. Montego Bay could see impacts over the weekend with some scattered thunderstorms, but really picks up on Monday. So get your preparations done over the weekend. And these areas here could see impacts of around 20 inches of rain as a maximum really being forecasted, and winds as high as 150 miles an hour are possible there. Let's see, Harbor View. Harbor View near Kingston there. I'm going to cover Kingston, Portmore, Spanish Town, and Harbor View, these areas and what they could experience. In terms of impacts and when they're going to experience some of the impacts, could be as early as tomorrow evening with some of the scattered thunderstorms. That will continue through Saturday, and on Sunday is when it starts picking up. So get your preparations completed either on Friday or Saturday. The earlier the better. In terms of winds, anywhere from 80 to 100 mile an hour winds are forecasted as a maximum, and rain accumulations for Kingston and Portmore and Spanish Town, these areas, anywhere from 15 to 30 inches of rain. St. Mary, up there, they could experience rainfall totals anywhere from around 15 to 20 inches of rain, looks like. And in terms of winds, anywhere from around 90 to 110 miles an hour. Also, I want you all to notice that the mountains here have stronger winds. That's because of elevation. Yep, Montego Bay. Could see winds of as high as 150 miles an hour in Montego Bay and rainfall of up to 20 inches of rain. Why does the GFS have a landfall in Haiti rather than Jamaica? It thinks that the system's doing much better than it actually is. That's why. It already thinks that it's like consolidating very quickly. You see that onto the east? It already has a decent center, becomes a hurricane very quickly, and then just speeds off towards the northeast. It's because it feels that trough a little bit more there and breaks the ridge that gets tugged out to sea. So it's going to stay weak, and the fact it's staying weak right now gives it a better chance to move west. Trelawney, please. Sure. Trelawney there, rain totals or winds could be anywhere from 125 to 135 mile an hour as a maximum. Rainfall totals of around 15 to 30 inches of rain are possible, looks like as a maximum. So again, if you're liking this kind of coverage, be sure to subscribe, as I'm going to have more of this coverage over the coming days with more accurate information, more up-to-date information. This is what we got right now, and this is going to change over the next few days. But generally, like, what's going to happen is some areas are going to be highlighted as worse. Some areas are going to get a little bit better. Um, I'll continue posting updates once a day, these live streams. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, okay? And in case I have to turn something on where like there's too many questions and I have to do subscriber only mode, you'll be able to answer some of those questions. Now I don't know how to do that. I do, I think. If I go through here, where is it? What is this? Okay. Where do I even do this? Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out where the customization is there. There we go. Participant mode, subscribers, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'll set it to if there's too many people watching, or like too many people asking questions at once. See, Westmoreland, I'll answer that. Westmoreland could see rain totals of 15 to 20 inches of rain and wind accumulations of around 140 to 160 mile an hour winds. So Category 5 is possible there. And so this may become one of my most popular live streams. I do want to state that because even after the live stream, even after it's live, I finish it, people still will watch it. So I'm going to check my channel real quick and see the the last one got 6.3 thousand views. So out of my most popular live streams, that's number 3. And at that time, it was only at 3,000 views, 3.5 thousand. This is at 5,000 views already. So this is likely going to double, maybe become my most popular live stream. We'll see. And I'm so glad I'm covering this system. I'm going to be covering a lot more Jamaican storms over over my life now. I didn't realize how much of an audience there is for it. This guy, yes, it's good to have faith, with Beryl sparing you all, but just don't count on it, okay? Of course, guys. Now, I have a question for you all who are currently watching and aren't, chatting anything or don't have any questions. Um, what's it like visiting? What would it be like if I visited Jamaica, for example? What's some interesting things I could do, things like that? I may consider going to Jamaica sometime. Seems like you all are very welcoming and very nice. Is it a safe country, would you say? East coast of Florida, nothing really expected there in terms of marginal impacts just yet. That may change, but as of right now, nothing there. All right. Very safe. Okay. Yes. All right. Thank you, guys. I just want to make sure. Of course. Yes. And yeah, it'd be nice to visit there. I know that Haiti and the Dominican Republic are meh in safety. I didn't know about Jamaica there. That'd be cool to visit. New York of the Caribbean. Okay. Just got to use American terms for me to understand. Yes, thank you. I'll sometime take a tour. I'll probably do a hurricane chase there sometime. If I was more available to, I probably would go down there. If I had more of the money to do so, or the time, I would probably go down and chase this hurricane down in Jamaica. But one of these years, one of these storms, I'm gonna be chasing in Jamaica. So I don't think you guys want me there, okay? Because if I'm there, that's probably gonna be a hurricane. Wow, okay, number one for helping strangers. That's nice. Yeah, it'd be nice to meet you all there. Right. Yeah, way safer than Haiti, yep. Well, so there's a lot of places I see to visit. Alright. Thank you guys. Oh, and we reached 3.7 thousand 61 subscribers. So, wow, I think I gained over 100 from the stream. This is crazy. I was not expecting that. Now, the storm is not in Jamaica just yet. It will be approaching, though. There's so much to do there. That's got to be such a that would be so cool to visit. I've got to do that on a hurricane chase. Any update on the South Indian Ocean? Sure, I can discuss that. That system's moving towards Africa, and the other one's not really doing anything. Now, real quick, Richie, are you the person who is Mackenzie? Is that who you used to be? I'm just because you act just like them, so I didn't know if you are. Yes. Okay. Well. Yeah. Okay. I remember you that. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. When you visit, don't stuck in hotels. You have to go out and visit the falls, the beaches, the rivers, the mountains, etc. Yeah, seeing the landscape, that would be cool. Can I do laundry tomorrow? I'm in Falmouth. Yep, you have time. Just remember to do preparations. Get your checklist filled out, all that kind of stuff. Um, just remember that the system's just going to be like things are going to be deteriorating over the next few days. So you have time to do laundry, all that kind of stuff. Just be prepared for things to get worse. When is St. Mary getting rain? Okay, let me pull up St. Mary here. It'd be roughly over here. St. Mary up here, for example, let's do Port Maria. They could get impacts as early as tomorrow, really. They could be getting rain tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, so really any of these days they could be getting rain. We had rainfall just now on top of Trelawney. Okay, that's interesting. Let me look at satellite. Oh yeah, I see why. Yeah, I forget you guys have radar. Yeah, so that's very helpful. I'd love to try to check out the radar site. But yeah, you can see some of those outer rain bands now impacting parts of northwestern Jamaica. And yeah, you can see the northwestern part of the storm there, nearing Kingston there. Um, Nothing too bad just yet, though. Just some clouds, almost there. I'm kind of I find it strange though why there's nothing highlighted here for the radar site. Like these have radar zones, radar bubbles. Jamaica doesn't here, but I'm so glad Jamaica has a radar. We're going to be able to get a lot of data from this. When is Cave Valley getting rain? Sorry about that. Okay. Cave Valley, I cannot find it here. I don't know which one you're talking about. When will rain start in Kingston? Okay, we can discuss that. There's more weather. Okay, I don't know why Jamaica's not showing up here. Oh, wait, does Jamaica not? Jamaica should have radar. I guess it's just not showing up just yet. That's weird. Okay. It's the Cayman Islands radar that's showing there. Huh, okay. I know that there's a link to it. If I look at, say, Kingston here, and we kind of look at when the rain's going to start for them, and this is pretty much the same for Spanish Town, Post, Portmore, all those areas. Could start as early as tomorrow night as an isolated thunderstorm or so, around noonish tonight. kind of picks up more. The chances start growing on Sunday, and then, or sorry, Saturday, and then Sunday as well, especially Sunday. What are the black, red, and purple colors? All these colors basically represent how severe it is. It's pretty much, there's no easy way to describe the scale, but like if you ask for a specific area, I'll go over it. Like the purples here are around 20 inches or so, the blacks are 24 inches or more, and the pinks are above a foot of rain, 12 inches or more. All right. Let's see. What time will rain start, Kings? Okay. Spalding is close. Thank you. Cannot find it. Sorry, I cannot even find that either. Let's see. How fast is the movement on it? Will all of Jamaica experience hurricane force winds? It's possible. It's very possible. Okay. We'll get a better idea later in time. Okay. In terms of probabilities, though, of Jamaica experiencing hurricane force winds this far out, like how confident are we that they're going to get hurricane force winds? Looks to be around a 10 to 20% chance, 10 to 30% actually, of them getting hurricane force winds. Oh, sorry, the radar link does not show. When you send in a link, it doesn't show, unfortunately. I know what you're talking about, though. There's a link somewhere. Now, I'm going to stop with the questions because I'm going to end the stream in around 5 minutes or so. Yeah, Richie, after Melissa, hopefully the Western Pacific doesn't get too serious. I do want to touch on that briefly, though, because remember, it's not just Melissa around the world. There's always other things going on, unfortunately. Like, for example, the Bay of Bengal could get a system threatening India, or another one after that, even. But then the Philippines could get a system within the next 10 days or so that they need to be watching out for. Could become a powerful system, so it's uncertain, though, but confidence is increasing, so we'll see. Nothing within the next 7 days, though. Our main updates are going to be focusing on Melissa. Now, again, I will be posting more updates on social media over the coming days, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We're at 3,768, nearly at 3,770 subscribers there, so thank you all so much. Gained probably 100 from this stream, and it really means a lot to me. Thank you all so much. But I will be posting more updates on social media, on X, on YouTube, on Instagram, Discord, Facebook, Blue Sky. You don't have to follow me on everything. I prefer YouTube. Do YouTube and then do one of these others. Whatever one you use most, okay? I'm not going to ask you to follow all of them because, what's the point there? Just because I post the same thing on every one of them there. Whatever you use the most, just consider following me on that platform. If you use X/Twitter, use search up at hurricane_chase. If you use Instagram a lot, Hurricane Chaser Chase, that would be helpful. And Discord, discord.gg/chase a storm. If you use Facebook or Blue Sky, follow me on Cyclone Tracking. Now, there is going to be another stream tomorrow at around the same time. Let's see here, what else? Yep, so I am planning to do another stream tomorrow, maybe even longer, maybe 3.5 hours. We'll see. Probably going to be longer. A lot more questions to answer, all this kind of stuff. Yes, I am going to need to be going to bed soon, probably. But yeah, I really like doing this to help you all be better informed. And thank you all so much for listening and for taking the advice seriously, taking the storm seriously. That's the goal. I'm trying to save lives by keeping people up to date as of what's happening. So if you have any questions or not really any question, I guess I'm running out of time. In 2 minutes or so I'll end. Um, and yeah, the peak, I can't believe it. 232 people were watching at the peak, and still 130 or 116 people are watching. Yes, guys. Just question, I guess. Did you like it? Do you like the stream? Do you like how I'm doing? Want to make sure I'm not too boring, too whatever. 11 p.m. advisory. Just briefly showing that's forecasting it to get very close to Jamaica and take a northward curve right at the end there. But again, though, the uncertainty is so high, it could slam into Jamaica. Now, again, I will probably be doing another live stream at around 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. A cone will be issued probably around 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And I believe you all are Eastern Standard Time, so it's around an hour earlier for you all, I think. So again, if you haven't already, be sure to follow me on these other social media accounts, whichever one you use the most. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, just so you can get the notification when I'm going live again. Yes, thank you, Blessed. I do my best. I try to explain it in terms that you all can understand. I know that some meteorologists just explain it in complicated ways, and I try to make sure it's simple to understand. As you all don't know all complicated weather terms, things like that, so I try to make sure it's simple to understand. Trying to help the public out. Well, thank you all so much for watching this stream, and I will be there tomorrow, and I better see some of you guys there tomorrow. Well, I'll see you all in the next update. Stay safe.